Thanks, Gary, and welcome to Jacobs Field in Cleveland, where Albert Bell and the defending American League champion Cleveland Indians try and stave off elimination against Cal Ripken and the Baltimore Orioles. The Cleveland Indians, a record second to none, the defending champions of the American League. Yet, despite their 99 wins, they have yet to gain the lead even once in this series. These are the Orioles, the wild card team, outboxing the champs with the glove, the arm, and the bat. A team on the brink of being broken up in late July has come together under a manager who lives for the postseason. Now the series moves to Jacobs Field, Cleveland's home turf, its house of heroics. But on the verge of the unthinkable, elimination. They'll turn to Jack McDowell up against his fellow Stanford alum Mike Mussina. Baltimore reliving the spirit of '83. Cleveland searching for that old swagger. Under the microscope of October baseball, a trip to the League Championship Series is on the line. It's October baseball in Cleveland, and the big crowd is gathering. It's a beautifully clear day, but a real cool day. Temperatures could get down into the 40s during the ball game. The big crowd is hoping that the Indians will warm things up here today. Game 3 in the American League Division Series, the Orioles stunningly leading Cleveland 2-0. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, and welcome to our telecast today. Nobody thought it would work this way. The wild card Orioles and the powerful Cleveland Indians, but now Cleveland back at home where they've always done so very well. Now, Cal Ripken has had a big series for the Orioles. 5 hits in the first 2 ball games, and my colleague Kirby Puckett caught up with Cal at the batting cage before the game.
Cal, what do you think, man? What do you expect out of Jack McDowell tonight?
Well, he's a big-time pitcher, and when he's healthy and he has his control, he can be really nasty. You know, I'm going to try to keep my stroke going. My stroke's been going pretty good for this series. I'm going to stay with what I've been doing, changing my stance for the 99th time this year. But we'd like to be able to go out and rely on Mike Mussina to stop them, and hopefully we'll get a chance to put a few runs across the board.
So hopefully you guys want to win it tonight then.
In the best case scenario, yeah, we'd like to keep it going. We won the first 2 games. If there's any kind of momentum for those first 2 games, I hope it carries over to tonight.
Real thanks, man.
You're welcome, Kirby.
All right, man. Thanks.
Man. Yeah, isn't that exciting, Kirby, in broadcasting? You get to go right down on the field and meet with the players.
Well, it's my first time, but it was a lot of fun. I got to meet with Cal, John, and I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. They seem to be relaxed. Cal's relaxed and everybody, and so they're ready to play baseball, and they're looking forward to hopefully getting away with just one more ball game so they go to the next level.
All right. How about the Cleveland Indians? Are they relaxed?
Well, they have to be. They have no choice, John. Their backs against the wall right now, and they are better ball clubs than they've shown. So I look forward to them to come out and hopefully play good Cleveland Indians baseball.
All right, Kirby Puckett here with us. Also, Dave Campbell. And Dave, this Oriole ball club, of course, has done everything right for 2 games, but the Cleveland Indians not scoring a lot of runs and making those defensive miscues, and it's really cost them those first 2 games.
Yeah, and the other thing, John, is they've been playing very tight. You know, in football, sometimes you see a Vince Lombardi or a Jimmy Johnson pull all the guys around him. You don't see it in baseball very often, but Mike Hargrove did it and said, guys, do what you do best. And for Kenny Lofton, that's steal bases. And for Albert Bell, that's hit home runs. And they did that in that 6th inning in Game 2, but I think the crowd's going to feel them here at home. I think they'll be more relaxed, and they've got to play better fundamentally.
All right. And they have a long history of success against the Orioles in this ballpark. Mussina for Baltimore, McDowell for Cleveland coming up. ESPN's coverage of the 1996 American League Division Series is brought to you by Jaguar Cars. For more information about the new 1996 Jaguars, call 1-800-4JAGUAR. When we come back, it'll be 50 home run man Brady Anderson, who's already homered twice in the series. It's the Orioles and the Indians in Game 3. The sun is shining here in Cleveland. It's a beautiful looking day, but it is a real cool day. And a strong wind is blowing right into the ballpark from right field. Davey Johnson and his Baltimore Orioles, they have everything going their way right now. But they would like to wrap it up today. They don't want to stay here any longer than they have to. This has been a hostile environment for Baltimore. They just ended a 10-game losing streak here back in early August. Here's the FedEx starting lineup for the Orioles. It's a familiar lineup for them. Brady Anderson in center field. Todd Zeile, third base. Roberto Alomar, second base. Alomar has always hit Jack McDowell very hard. Rafael Palmeiro, first base. Bobby Bonilla, right field. Cal Ripken, 5 hits in 2 games at short. Eddie Murray, back in Cleveland where he played in the World Series last year with them. P.J. Surhoff, left field, and Chris Hoyles is the catcher, batting ninth. On the mound for Cleveland, the veteran, former Cy Young Award winner, Jack McDowell.
Well, Jack McDowell, I talked to some of the Orioles earlier, and they told me that the key to success against Jack is that they're going to have to make Jack get the ball up. You know, anytime Jack throws that fork ball down in the dirt, he throws a lot of balls out of the zone. You have to make him get the fastball up and hopefully get a pitch you can handle and hopefully hit it hard somewhere.
And so it all rests on the strong right arm of Jack McDowell, at least for right now, for the Cleveland Indians. Brady Anderson, the first pitch inside for ball 1. And you see Brady with a home run in each of the 2 games of this series in Baltimore. That is hit hard but foul. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. And Kirby, you had also brought up at the outset that on a cold day, make those pitchers, or the pitchers will make those hitters uncomfortable to come inside. That's what we've seen already. 2 pitches.
No doubt about it. Cold weather is unbelievable for a hitter.
And a pop-up. Julio Franco. 1 away.
Take a look at the Indians defense. A little bit maligned in this series as they've had some trouble. Bell, Lofton, Ramirez, each of them led their position in errors this year in the American League. Julio Franco, they've had problems at first base. Their best defensive first baseman, Herbert Perry, underwent knee surgery, and he's been gone for most of the year. But Franco back in today.
Todd Zeile shows bunt, takes a strike. And this crowd here in Jacobs Field really into this one. The first postseason game here this year. This one is hit hard into left field. Albert Bell will watch it bounce off the wall. And he will hold Zeile to a single.
Todd Zeile has always been kind of a station-to-station runner, not a guy that takes a lot of chances. And Bell played that carom. It was almost like watching Ted Williams play it off the Fenway Park wall. Zeile really crushes this ball. But Albert makes a tremendous play. He reads it right away that it's going to hit up the wall. All in one motion, and Zeile takes a wide turn and holds on.
And the reaction is for Roberto Alomar. Slow tap. Zeile moves up. Alomar retired on 1 pitch. And Alomar gets booed heavily as he heads back to the dugout now. People behind the Orioles dugout running over to the dugout, hollering at him, waving at him. And Kirby, if you're a player, I mean, you talk about focusing and on the job at hand, but can you help but hear that kind of stuff?
No, you can't help but hear it. I mean, the situation, I think it's got way too much publicity. Anytime you have one negative thing, just take over all the positive things that have happened in baseball this year.
Rafael Palmeiro, 4th in the league in RBIs. And he takes ball 1. Now the Orioles have scored first in each of the 2 games of this series. Mike Hargrove talked yesterday about he'd like to turn that around. See Cleveland score first. They've had to play catch up in each of the first 2 games. Palmeiro trying to get the Orioles ahead again in the first inning here. And 2-0. Bobby Bonilla is on deck.
Well, for Jack McDowell, he's got a lot of things he's trying to get rid of today. Number 1 is 0-4 in postseason with an ERA over 9. So he's got to get the monkey off his back in that situation.
Hit hard down the right field line, but foul. 2-1. Well, first Brady Anderson hit a shot foul, hit real hard, but fouled on the right field line. Zeile hits one hard off the left field wall. Now Palmeiro hits one hard, but foul. And he early read on McDowell from you, Kirby?
Well, no, not really. I think Jack's just coming out right now, just trying to establish his fastball and hopefully use his other stuff when you get in certain situations. But right now, trying to establish his fastball. It seems like he's pitching inside a little bit more than pitchers did previously in this series.
One of the reasons he likes to come in also, Kirby, is to get the hitters to speed up the bat. Then he can go to that split finger pitch, which is an off-speed pitch. So you're right. He's trying to establish the gas early.
And the fastball again, but it's inside. 3-1. Now first base is open, but you got a switch hitter, Bobby Bonilla, on deck.
Well, it doesn't get any easier. I think both of these pitchers today, Jack McDowell and also Mussina, they're not afraid to pitch inside. And on a cool day, that could come into play with, believe me, the batters, the worst thing in the world the batters want today is to hit a bat off the end of the bat or get jammed.
3-1. Seal at second, ready to go in anything with 2 down. A high pop-up. Vizquel and the second baseman. And the Vizcaíno colliding with Vizquel, but Vizquel caught it. And the Orioles do not score. Cleveland is coming up. John Miller, along with Dave Campbell and Kirby Puckett from the Jake in Cleveland. And in a hostile environment, the Orioles now trying to eliminate Cleveland. Of course, this Cleveland ball club, such a powerful ball club, nearly 6 runs a game, and they've not been that kind of big slugging ball club in the first 2 games of this series. Mike Hargrove and Toby Harrah, one of his coaches, talking it over. Here's Hargrove's FedEx starting lineup. It'll be Kenny Lofton in center field. He's been kept off the bases early in the first 2 games. Seitz of the DH, Tomey at third base. Albert Bell is hitting cleanup, and Tomey, one of several Cleveland players who's hit well against Mussina. Franco at first, Ramirez in right, Sandy Alomar the catcher, Vizcaíno at second, and Omar Vizquel is the shortstop hitting ninth. And Baltimore's leading winner, a 19-game winner, Mike Mussina, is on the mound for the Orioles. But a guy, Kirby, who has gotten clobbered by Cleveland this year.
Well, no doubt about it. But I think what you're going to see from Mike today is he's going to be just like Jack. He's going to try to establish his fastball early, move the players off the plate a little bit, pitch inside a little bit more, then go away. And then also he's going to try to establish that great knuckle curveball that he has.
Kenny Lofton making Mussina wait. Lofton walking very slowly up there after Mussina had finished his warm-ups. Pausing outside the box. Little mind games here going on, or what?
Maybe, but I mean, I think Kenny's just happy to be home right now, and hopefully the home field advantage he's hoping will help the Indians get on track right here.
The fastball misses as he shows bunt. 1 ball, no strikes.
John, at one time the Orioles were on a 4-man rotation, only 3 days rest. Mussina is pitching with 5 full days rest, and on a cold day he could have a great fastball today.
Center field, but Bonilla battling the sun, drops the ball. And right away, everything is different for the Orioles here in Cleveland.
You can see Bonilla was battling it all the way. Baltimore playing totally flawless at home, and the first ball hit here in Cleveland. Bobby Bonilla, not noted for defense anyway, but battling a tough guy, closed the glove too soon. And whammo, Lofton running hard all the way, cruises into second base. Well, he ran hard after he saw the ball dropped anyway.
Well, Kirby, this time of day in this ballpark, I know you played right field your last year with the Twins. How tough can it be this time of day?
It's very tough in any ballpark. Anytime you have the sun in your eyes, especially in right field right now at this time in the game, Bobby's going to have a tough time out there, and so is Manny Ramirez. So mistakes will happen. We only human in this game, and it wasn't for lack of effort.
Kevin Seitz, the hitter, trying to go to the right side. It looked like there, and the count is 0-1.
Kirby, you were telling me the other day, Seitz is as good as anybody you've seen in this situation.
No doubt. You know what, Seitz, I've been playing against him for years, and he's going to make sure that he gets this ball over to the right side right here. You watch what I tell you. I like to call Kevin Seitz a professional hitter. He knows what his job is, and he knows that Kenny Lofton can score on a base hit, so he doesn't really have to waste an out. He can actually try to hit a base hit here and get an RBI.
There goes Lofton. Boyle's throw. 2.
Well, again, Kenny's going to make things happen. Well, Mussina was on the mound this year. Only 5 stolen bases against him, but one of them was by Lofton. And Kenny just said, I'm going. I thought Hoyles had a shot. He threw it to the outside part of the bag. If he gets that inside, Lofton's dead meat. And a good slide by Lofton. He did that last year in the World Series. He kind of put one hand in, took it away, and dropped the other hand in. And the umpire at third base, Mark Johnson, waited and made a good call.
Yeah, he had the ball there ahead of him.
It's the exact same thing that happened in Game 1 of the World Series. Chipper Jones tried to put a tag down on Lofton last year. He put one hand in, took it away, and slipped the other hand in.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Seitzer. So now Seitzer's job is a little bit different. Instead of trying to get Lofton to third, Lofton got himself over there. And, of course, that's Lofton's job. And this Cleveland Ball Club trying to display a little bit of that Cleveland Indians baseball we've seen the last 2-3 years here right away in their home ballpark. The infield stays back except for Zeal, shortened up at third. 2-2.
And so far it's just the little things that the Orioles did well at home. Bonilla drops the ball. Hoyles' throw is to the outside of the bag. Either one of those plays made, Kenny Lofton's retired, but that's ifs and buts. And right now he's in third with nobody out.
Get the run home. Palmeiro, as Lofton scores, gets the put out. And for the first time in the series, the Cleveland Indians are ahead.
Checking the defense, we are going to highlight B.J. Surhoff, Bobby Bonilla, and Rafael Palmeiro, all playing with various injuries. Palmeiro and Bonilla have bad ankles, and Surhoff's right knee has been bothering him. We'll have to see if that affects them defensively during this game.
1 out, nobody on, 1 in. Mussina has given up a routine-looking fly ball, but it turned into something otherwise in the bright, sunshiny right field area. And then just an infield out by Seitzer, but Cleveland has a run, Kirby. That's a Kenny Lofton special.
That's what his job is. He's the catalyst, and his job is to get on base and kind of disrupt things and get things going for the Indians.
Jim Thome. There's the knuckle curve, but it's too low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
John, one of the things we've seen in this postseason, in the year where more home runs were hit than any other, and everybody played for the big inning, now we're going back to the little fundamental things. A lot of sacrifice bunts, Pudge Rodriguez, Tony Gwynn advancing the runner, getting him in, contact plays. Every run is so important in postseason as opposed to playing for those huge innings.
Irwood Merrill, the home plate umpire. The crew that had worked in New York the first 2 games has now been shifted to this series as the venue moves from Baltimore to Cleveland. Irwood Merrill behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Thome. Albert Bell is on deck. But Ripken is right there. He was shaded way over toward the middle. And Thome is gone, out number 2. And now here comes the big man, Albert Bell. Kirby, this ballpark has become one of the most exciting ballparks in either league. Just to come in and watch a ball game. I don't know what it was like when you're an out-of-town ball player, but I mean, this place always seems to have a buzz to it and electricity to it. And certainly today, strike 1 to Albert.
Well, I know the Twins coming in here myself. We didn't have very much success in this ballpark. We'd be winning a lot of ball games, and then towards the end of the game, the Cleveland's would just work their magic. And before you know it, they just snatch the blanket from out under us and take another victory away from us.
When was it? A couple of years ago, we were here in a Sunday night ball game and an extra inning ball game on the 4th of July. And that's exactly what happened. You had a big lead, and they came back and finally defeated you. Well, I'm sorry I brought that up.
That's all right. It happened to us quite a bit here. We were winning quite a bit getting down to the late innings. And, the Cleveland Indians, they never say die. And that's why they won 99 ball games this year and over 100 ball games last year.
Mike Mussina trying to wrap up a division title for the Orioles to move on to the League Championship Series But he is behind in this ball game now, even though he has not allowed a hit here in the first inning. 2-1 to Albert Bell. Change up. It is 3-1. What kind of an umpire now is Durwood Merrill, Kirby? I mean, what can we expect from him?
Well, Durwood's the kind of umpire that I think he doesn't want any controversy. He just wants to sit back there and hopefully call a comfortable game. But if the game gets close, he has a tendency maybe to make a mistake. But hopefully in the championship series here, he won't make a mistake. But I mean, you have to understand that we are human, and mistakes will happen.
Is he a hitter's umpire or a pitcher's umpire?
I think he's a pitcher's umpire myself. I think he gives you a good shake. I mean, Durwood gives you all he has, and that's all you can ask.
3-1 to Albert Bell. We've seen Kenny Lofton make it happen for Cleveland, and now Cleveland would like to see Albert Bell do his thing here. Of course, both Lofton and Bell did their thing in Game 2 in Baltimore when they made their comeback.
Talking to some of the Cleveland personnel with this wind blowing straight in from center, they say it'll still carry very well down the lines, but when you hit it out in deep left center and right center, that's when it's really going to get held up.
3-1. Eddie Kerman for the walk. Now at game time, the temperature listed at 53 degrees. The sunshine, but that wind coming in from right field really whipping around inside here. 10 to 20 miles an hour, and I'd say right now looks more like 20.
I know we're standing right here. It's really cold up here.
Julio Franco. Cleveland has really had success with Mussina, as we've mentioned. Franco and Ramirez are the only two men in the lineup today who do not have batting averages over 300 against Mussina. Bell running, and a terrible throw and a great save. Hoyles with a bad throw. Ripken saved it from going to center field.
Couple things here. Albert Bell was 11 for 11 in the regular season. Doesn't run often, and against Mussina, a guy we said only gave up 5 stolen bases all year. But Chris Hoyles, he has a bad shoulder, only threw out 17%, and this throw not even in the zip code. Ripken makes a great play just to keep that from going to center.
It looked like Hoyles should have just held that ball. I mean, the only thing that could have happened on that would have been bad.
That was a good play by Cal to keep it in the infield. I mean, not to try to get too excited. I think you can learn something from Cal right there. Instead of trying to catch it and make a tag, he just made sure he kept it in the infield, and the runner couldn't advance.
Looks like the Indians are making a statement with their aggressiveness early.
1-0 Cleveland. 2 down. Franco at the plate. 1-1 the count. We mentioned Mussina struggling against Cleveland. 2 starts against them this year. Just got annihilated in his first start in this ballpark this year. He gave up 9 runs, the most he's ever given up in a big league game. Knuckle curve, strike 2 call. Mussina, a 19-game winner this year and a 19-game winner last year. In fact, he was the winningest pitcher in the league last year in the shortened season. He's been a quality pitcher, but this has really, despite the 19 wins, been his worst season. An earned run average up near 5 most of the year.
A lot of speculation early that his shoulder was bothering him, and again, when he gets his rest, though, he's got good stuff today.
1-2. That looked pretty close, I thought.
I think Julio just happy he didn't swing at that. I mean, it's so cold outside. Yet you can see, you're talking about the number 1 and 2 hitters, the number 1 and 2 pitchers in the league, the 2 best pitchers in the league over the last 5 years in wins. And so they're going to use both sides of the plate. And it's kind of cold outside. I think they're going to take advantage of the cold outside. Maybe pitch inside a little bit more than they usually would.
2-2 to Franco.
But if that pitch is high, the belly button's the top of the strike zone then, because that ball looked to be a good pitch.
Well, I know what a bit of strike on me, Dave. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you're a little shorter.
Albert Bell at second base. 2 down. 1 run in for Cleveland. The curveball. And it's a full count now. Jack McDowell won a Cy Young Award win with Chicago beginning in 1991. 97 wins for McDowell. Mussina came on just for the last 2 months of that season and won 4 ball games in 91, and still the second winningest pitcher behind McDowell in the league. 3-2. And a foul into the upper deck off to the right. Manny Ramirez, powerful right-handed hitter on deck. So this is not what Davy Johnson was hoping for. The drop fly ball by Bonilla, and now because of that, Mike Mussina has thrown a lot more pitches than he might have otherwise in his first inning as well.
You know, the Orioles wanted to try to take the crowd out of, put a crooked number on the board early. They didn't get it in the first inning, and now Cleveland's really got their home crowd into it.
3-2 the count. Struck him out. The 23rd pitch of the inning for Mussina. But again, Dave made the point. Good stuff, just the one unearned run score. ESPN's coverage of Game 2 of the division series between the Orioles and the Indians now moving to the second inning. It's actually Game 3 now. And the Cleveland Indians jumping ahead here for the first time in this series. Bobby Bonilla, who dropped that fly ball, gave the Indians the opening to get the run to put them ahead for the first time, leads it off. Bonilla, after a big year, 1 for 5, but his one hit was really one of the biggest ones of the series up till now. A grand slam that broke open Game 1.
Kirby, you've heard that old axiom, the guy that makes the bad play always leads off, right?
Thought it was the good play.
Well, we changed it.
Fastball outside. 2-1. Jack McDowell, 30 years of age. Big, tall, kind of slender guy. 6 feet 5 inches tall. Quite a battler. Bonilla with a base hit down the right field line. Manny Ramirez will hold him to a single, and that will bring up Cal Ripken.
Well, it's amazing how a game can turn. Palmeiro hits a pop-up, and the Indians have been criticized so much for their defense, but some confusion here. The crowd roaring. If that ball drops, you would have heard the balloon bust in this crowd. And then at the bottom of the first, Bobby Bonilla can't handle a ball. That sets the stage for the run by the Indians. But if that ball would have popped out of Vizquel's glove when Vizcaíno crashed into him, I mean, the crowd and the Indians would have really been deflated, but it didn't happen.
Bonilla aboard, looking right into that sunshine as Cal Ripken takes ball 1 inside. 1-0 for Cleveland in the second inning. Cal has faced McDowell many times over the years. 64 at bats against him. But right now Cal doing some things maybe he hadn't done before. He never had a hit against Orel Hershiser until the ballgame was tied up on Wednesday. Then he got a huge hit, a double against McDowell at 266 lifetime average. And there's that fastball inside again. 2-0 the count.
Well, it seems like McDowell's trying to pitch inside, like I said earlier in the broadcast today, that he's trying to pitch everybody inside, establish that fastball early, and then go away with maybe his breaking stuff or his forkball. And right now he's pitching inside quite a bit.
2-0. Bonilla at first with Julio Franco on the bag with him. Cal drives one toward the wall in left field, but Albert Bell with the room out there. Bonilla back to first. Back in the first inning after Lofton reached and the Bonilla drop fly ball, Lofton stole third base.
But you can see Kenny right here. He's getting off there, jumping off. He gets to steal, but you see a very important thing. Seitzer standing in the box. He's standing straight up. Make Halls go around him to make the throw, and that's why the throw was wide.
So Kevin Seitzer did a little subtle little thing there.
Did what you're supposed to do.
Here's Eddie Murray.
Kenny sliding in, putting the hand there, and then taking away. It's like watching that guy in the corner with the shell under the 3-Ps. You got to guess which one it is. Looked like they were going to get the tag down on him. He took that hand away and put the other one on the base.
It's magic.
So Dave, Kirby and I, we don't play that game. We just go on our way.
Kirby and I have seen that on the street corner a few times.
No doubt about it. It's everywhere in Chicago where I grew up. You don't see it in Minneapolis, though.
1 ball, 1 strike to Eddie Murray. Mussina still looking right into the setting sun over there at first base. And that's a ball outside. We saw shadows like this yesterday in St. Louis. I mean, in October, especially when you play this time of the day, you get these long shadows in the bright sunshine.
Well, I'm firmly convinced, in addition to pitching stepping up in postseason, that does have an effect on scoring. A lot of day games, a lot of shadows in both leagues right now.
Especially when you start a game at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can look for the shadows.
It bugs you, doesn't it, 4 o'clock?
Well, maybe if you can start at 1, hopefully the game can be over by the time the shadows start creep in. See?
Well, if you're playing in Atlanta, it'll be over. Those guys play about 2:20 every game.
Now, see, Jack McDowell's not complaining, though.
No?
Jackie likes the 4 o'clock start. 2-2 to Murray. That's a foul.
It's to a pitcher's advantage right now.
1-0 Cleveland ahead in the top of the second inning.
Let me ask you about shadows. I mean, obviously it's tough to pick up, but I mean, they're going a lot of fastball. You think the fastball is tougher to pick up or a breaking ball when you have these kind of shadows?
Well, I think it's definitely just, for me, it was always tough to pick up the rotation on the ball. If I got to a changeup is a very, very hard pitch. It was for me to pick up at this stage of the game with the shadow right there. Then all of a sudden you see the fastball and you go to react. If it throws a high fastball, you don't have a chance to catch up to it.
And Murray got the high fastball up out of the strike zone, but for the first time, really, McDowell not throwing the fastball pitch after pitch to a batter. 2-2. See it coming out of the sun into the shadows there, Kirby.
See, it was tough to pick up. It's tough for me to pick up still, and I don't play anymore.
Looking into that bright background, which is still brilliantly lit up in the sunlight. 2-2 the count. Fastball just missing now. Both pitchers have had some close ones on that inside. They didn't get the call that they wanted.
Well, I think Durr was still feeling his way around right now. Trying to make the good calls, trying not to make a mistake. But, I mean, he has to call it how he sees it, and he's in control right now. And remember, he's the boss. Whatever he says goes.
Now more than ever, I understand that.
I don't think Bonilla runs here. We'll see. Murray having a tough time picking it up, and Bobby with the bad ankle.
Bonilla is running. Murray into left center field. Albert Bell can't get to it. Bonilla heading for third. He'll make it. Runners at first and third with 1 out, and B.J. Surhoff is coming up.
Well, Davy Johnson pushes the right button. Again, he's not done a lot of running, especially the second half of the season with all the home run hitters. But he starts Bonilla. Bobby picks it up very well and goes on to third base. Murray might even hit a pitch down and away out of the strike zone.
It was a good pitch Eddie hit right there. Just trying to put it in play right there. I guess you know why his bat's 36 inches long now. Used every bit of it on that swing.
Of course, Murray, 40 years old. He's not the hitter that he once was, but Eddie was always a guy who didn't just hit for power. I mean, he always hit around 300. 288 lifetime average. You've got to look at why there. Here's Surhoff. And the curveball for a called strike.
Well, Davy Johnson spent his entire managerial career in the National League before coming over to Baltimore. And he kind of got with the American League program mid-year. Let's play for those big innings. But I think he's starting to revert back to a little bit of his old patterns.
Surhoff chasing the bad ball there. 0-2 the count. Bonilla at third base, Murray at first base. The infield double play depth here. And of course with Surhoff up, the last time we saw him bat in the game, he hit a double play ball. But the Cleveland Indians did not turn the double play. The winning run it ended up scoring in the play on Wednesday. 0-2 the count. And there's that splitter.
BJ one fastball that time. Let him off with a breaking ball and then threw him 2 fork balls. There's a good fork ball right here from Jack. See the spin on it? See nothing but the seams go straight down.
Well, oftentimes they say the mark of a great pitcher is with a man on third base and less than 2 outs to get that strikeout then, and McDowell did.
So Surhoff, who's usually pretty good at making contact, unable to get that runner home from third with less than 2 down. Now Hoyles will try and do it, but it will take a base hit or a Cleveland mistake. Now 1-0 Cleveland ahead. Too high.
Hoyles big numbers against McDowell lifetime, 385 with a couple of homers.
As you can see, Manny Ramirez on the right field right now. He's the loneliest guy in the world out there right now, and he's trying to stand in the shade and get the best thing he can really get out there in right field, the best angle or anything that's going to help him, because he knows if he goes up.
There goes Murray. And Murray makes it uncontested into second base. The count to 2-0 on Chris Hoyles. He's a 40-year-old guy taking liberties. Well, you see out there in right center what Kirby was mentioning. Ramirez in one of those shadows extended by one of those toothbrush-looking light towers here at the Jake. Very distinctive looking, unique to this ballpark. Trying to find a little relief for that bright sun. Now the strike. 2-1 to Hoyles. And all of a sudden, Kirby, you want to go down there and argue with Durwood. I saw you shaking your head up here.
No, not at all. Believe me, I thank God every day that I don't have to play baseball anymore. Trust me. I had fun for 13 years. I don't have to look back and argue and smirk or do anything.
2-1 to Hoyles. And 3-1. Now, as Dave mentioned, Hoyles has hit well against McDowell. First base is open, but the man on deck is a left-handed hitter with 50 home runs this year, Brady Anderson.
Yeah, he's also 7 for 43 lifetime against Jack McDowell, and maybe McDowell's aware of that. Brady has never handled McDowell in his career.
A lot of guys have.
3-1 the count. And a walk. Goes back to my partner Joe Morgan's comment on Wednesday. And they just don't show Brady Anderson much respect. The guy hit 50 home runs. Well, now we'll see if the history will hold up here, because Brady will get his shot with the bases loaded. Omar Vizquel in to speak to McDowell at the mound.
One thing about guys that have great split finger pitches, if you're a right-hander with a great split finger, you generally have better success against left-handers. And you see his numbers lifetime. But again, Brady's had his all-time year this season.
3 men on, 2 men down. Cleveland ahead 1-0. We're in the second. Doing the slow one there, 0-1.
Tell you what's going through Brady's mind right now is that he wants to make sure he doesn't swing at the forkball. He wants to make sure he makes Jack McDowell get the ball up in the zone right here, so hopefully he can get something to drive and hit it where nobody is.
The outfield pretty much straight away. The infield playing him to pull. All 3 of the runners weren't going anything here. And the other soft one. Again, this one missing. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brady Anderson.
Well,
Bonilla led off the inning with a single. He's at third base. Murray hit a single. He's at second. And Hoyles drew the 2-out walk. He's at first. And they're all ready to run at the crack of the bat with 2 down in the second.
every inning is important, but it's doubly important after your team has given you a lead to make sure you hold it. And McDowell trying to do that right now.
He hit it, and that will tie the ball game. And Brady Anderson was hit more often than any other hitter in the American League this year. 22 times, an Orioles record.
Only man in Major League Baseball with more was Craig Biggio down in Houston with 27.
I think Jack just wanted to get the ball inside on him right there, and Brady just stayed right there and just got the easiest RBI in the world right there. Just stand there and let it hit. It only hurts for a while, and it's cold outside. He probably won't feel it anyway.
Well, I asked him why he gets hit so often. He says, you know, when they pitch me inside, the last thing in my mind is to get out of the way of it, because you know I've been preached about waiting and waiting and waiting. He says it just doesn't occur to me at that moment.
Well, he's got one thing in mind, and whatever he's doing, he better keep doing it, because he's had a great year so far, and he's hoping to prolong it here and hopefully go to the next level here. But got Zio, who hit the ball good the last time up.
Zio hit one off the left field wall his first time. So now it is 1-1. 2 singles, a walk, and a hit batsman of all things. Cleveland got a run in the first inning without even getting a hit in the inning. Now the Orioles get a hit batsman to force in a run. And almost another hit batsman right there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If I was Zio right there, I think I would let that ball hit me.
Would have hit Brady.
Pretty sure I would let it hit me too.
Would have taken it for the team right there.
No doubt about it.
Would have been a run. Inside again. 2-1.
Now, one of the things Mike Hargrove talked about in the series in Baltimore, he said we got the ball out over the plate too many times and let all these home run hitters extend their arms. Obviously, McDowell's trying to pound in with everybody today.
Well, there's the splitter. They fooled him badly.
But we talked again about the theory of pitching in. You get the hitter thinking about speeding up his bat to hit that inside pitch, and then you can go split or change up or anything, and they'll be way out in front of it.
Three men on, 2 men out. Popped up. Franco into the shadows. Can't get it. Into the camera well. He just ran out of room.
Nice job by the first base umpire, Larry Young, coming over, grabbing Franco before he kind of tumbled in head first. So first of all, Young makes sure Franco didn't catch it, and then he grabbed him to keep him from falling.
I think Julio better bring Larry Young a piece of gum or some sunflower seeds or something at the start of the next inning, because he really saved him from taking a tumble right there.
The Cleveland bullpen is busy. McDowell has thrown 31 pitches in this inning. Strike 3 call. Three men left, but it is 1-1 as Manny Ramirez gets ready to bat. Mike Mussina had to labor in the first inning, 23 pitches thrown, but he did not allow a hit. Jack McDowell, 31 pitches in the second inning. The two former Stanford stars, Mussina, Stanford from 88 through 90, Jack McDowell in 87, pitching here in the national championship game, which he won for Stanford. Yeah, time to celebrate. He'd like to do that again in the Cleveland Indians uniform. But right now, it's kind of resting on his shoulders if they're going to just stay alive in this first round series. And you see both of them were great pitchers at Stanford. So Mike Mussina now comes back, and he got a long rest after throwing all of those pitches in the first inning. Ramirez at the plate. The knuckle curve in there for a strike.
I talked to Pat Dobson and Mark Wiley, two pitching coaches. I said, what do you tell these guys from Stanford? He said, not very much. There's not much you can tell them. I noticed Hargrove came out instead of Wiley.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Steve Avery, who pitches for the Braves, had a scholarship to Stanford. He didn't go there. He signed with the Braves. Leo Mazzoni goes out to talk to him, and Leo goes out and said, now look, Steve, I know what you're doing wrong. You know what you're doing wrong. Just make me look good. Bobby sent me out here. Now don't embarrass me.
1 ball, 1 strike to Ramirez. Sandy Alomar on deck. And that curveball is too low. 2-1 the count to Ramirez. Sandy Alomar, then Omar Vizquel were in the lower part of the Cleveland batting order. They sent 5 men up in the first inning and scored an unearned run. The Orioles then sent 7 men to the plate in the second inning and scored 1 run. There's a high drive deep into left field. Into the corner. Surhoff. Gone. Home run.
Graduates should know that pitching behind in the count is lethal. Both Mussina and McDowell have been behind hitters all day long. That makes hitters a lot more aggressive.
And Ramirez with his second home run of the series. Here's Alomar. And the curveball in there for a strike. Well, Ramirez, I'm sure, looking for a chance to vindicate himself after that ill-advised throw in game 1, which helped the Orioles get a big inning together to run away with the ball game. And the count is 0-2 to Alomar, chasing another off-speed pitch. And of course Alomar, with that poor throw, that enabled the Orioles to score the winning run on Wednesday on the would-be double play ball. It could have taken the Indians right out of a terrible jam.
John, I still feel that rule ought to be changed. And anytime a guy is inside the baseline, I think he ought to be called out. From the standpoint, Alomar had to readjust his throw. I think they ought to change the rule and make it definitive, because they put the umpires in the hot seat making a judgment on that. And sometimes they don't always have the perfect angle.
Ripken moving to his right, and he throws him out. So there is one away. And the rule is that here's Ramirez putting Cleveland ahead 2-1.
Leg kick, fastball out over the plate. Do what he does best. Quick bat.
A high, majestic looking fly ball.
I think the wind had a little something to do with that. I think he hit it good, but I think the wind here is kind of swirling right now. You don't really know where it's blowing. But all the times that I played here, it seems that it blow it all the time to right center all the time.
Here's Omar Vizquel. Drops the butt down. Nicely done. Barehanded pickup. Zeal. Wild throw. It leaves the field. Vizquel will be moved to second. It's another Baltimore error.
Yep, Davey just looks away. Zeal made a terrific play, pounced on him, but the throw was well offline. No chance for Palmeiro to get it. Two major mistakes by the Orioles defensively. And it appears the worm has turned. Cleveland making the plays, Baltimore not.
Well, I think that what people have to understand is that when you play out here and you play and it's kind of cool outside, and a guy like Omar is trying to do anything he can to just get the Cleveland Indians going in the right direction, is that, you know, your body tightens up, and that's a tough play for Zeal. He made a great play, barehanded it, but sometimes your aim is not what it should be when it's warm outside. And it's a great play, but he just threw it away.
Cal just came in and talked to Mussina and reminded him to focus on Vizquel at second. Don't let him get a jump and steal third here.
Jose Vizcaíno, the hitter. Only one out, one in. We're in the second. Left center field into the alleyway. That will get a run home, and it will go for extra bases. Vizcaíno will stop at second, a double. It is 3-1 for Cleveland.
One thing to make mistakes, it's another to take advantage of them. Cleveland's done it both times. The error by Bonilla, Lofton scored, and the throwing error by Zeal allowed Vizquel to get to second, where he could score easily on the double by Vizcaíno.
Feel like a fork ball or a changeup from Mussina right down the middle of the plate. Vizcaíno just hit it the other way. With Brady and Surhoff playing kind of shallow in the outfield, just got right between the both of them.
Mussina had only had one of the real great changeups in the American League, but this year, more than in any other year in the past, he really got hurt on that changeup many times, not getting it where he wanted to get it.
Allowed 31 homers on the regular season, and Ramirez made it 32 overall.
Now Kenny Lofton. 2 runs are in for Cleveland. Still only one out, and another man in scoring position, Vizcaíno. Lofton safe on the Bonilla error in the first inning. Stole a base and scored a run. Zeal very shallow at third. There goes the run, and the ball is bunted foul.
But that's pretty interesting play. Man going, and Lofton knows that Zeal has to go back and cover third. Then he tries to bunt down the third base line. Kenny gets that down. Zeal was paralyzed.
Also, Vizcaíno probably keeps running too. I mean, when you think about it, it's a great play. He takes off, and Kenny squares the bunt. Zeal has to go back to cover the base. If he gets that down, there's no way Mussina's going to get over there and throw Kenny out.
Again, Zeal comes way down the line from third. But again, you see it right there, but we've been seeing Cleveland just taking off at every opportunity on the base paths today. Cleveland has now stolen 6 bases in this series. This is the third game. Time taken, no pitch. Strike. The count remains to Kenny Lofton. You got Zeal over there talking about having your attention divided. Zeal standing way down the line at third base. standing sideways before the pitch is thrown, looking over at Vizcaino the whole time. Mussina and Zeal talk it over.
Zeal's in a tough position. I mean, he's right down Kenny's throat. If Kenny decides to swing and hit a ball right down there, he's going to have to make a tough play either way, whether it's a bunt or a ball right at him. So he really has to be heads up over there, because if Vizcaino takes off right now, he's the one that has to be back and cover the base.
No indication of the bunt there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, in almost every situation in baseball, there's a way to defense a certain play, but there's absolutely no way to defense this one. If Zeal stays in, then Vizcaino steals the base easily. So Todd Zeal, you talk about being between a rock and a hard place.
And that's a foul. Plus, when you talk about a guy like Lofton, I mean, if he gets the bunt down to put runners at first and third, a moment later probably runners at second and third.
Real quick.
Well, he keynotes the Indians offense. He got aboard on the Bonilla era, and ever since he got aboard, the Indians have been just taking it to Baltimore.
3 runs on 3 hits for Cleveland in the ball game. All the hits have come here in the second inning. That'll get the runner over. Cal Ripken plays a bad hop beautifully and throws out the speedy Lofton. Vizcaino making it over to third base. It looked like it hit the lip of the grass where it meets the dirt.
Typical Cal play right there. You know, Cal Lofton hit it, and it seemed like it hit off the edge of the grass. He's got a top spin on it. Hits a lip. Cal stays right there. Of course, he's always where the ball should be hit. He's always standing right there.
Vizcaino with a good read. He knew by taking a couple of steps the ball was going to be behind him. So the Indians continue to be aggressive on the base pass.
2 down, and Vizcaino now at third base. Cleveland already ahead 3-1. Kevin Seitzer, the hitter, got an RBI on a ground out in the first inning. Fastball a strike at the knees. 0-1 the count.
I think a pretty big out right here for Mussina. Right now, he's got to stop the hemorrhaging for Baltimore. If Seitzer gets a hit, that's just going to fuel this crowd even more.
Mussina continuing from the stretch with 2 down and a man in third. And it's fouled on the right field line. Couple of fastballs to Seitzer, and quickly Mussina ahead of him, 0-2.
Well, I think the Cleveland Indians are doing exactly what they're supposed to, what they've been doing all year right now. They're trying to do anything they can. They can't leave no stone unturned right now. They have to come out and play the aggressive type baseball that got them to this point.
Yeah, this is the Cleveland Indian Ball Club that we're all used to seeing, which we did not see for 2 days in Baltimore. Again, reached for and hit foul down the right field line, and another fastball. Still 0-2.
Well, for the Indians, it was kind of a double-edged sword. They didn't get very many men on in those series, especially at the top of the lineup. And then when they did, the Indians were 2 for 15 with men in scoring position. Today, Vizcaino's already knocked a man into scoring position.
0-2 to Seitzer. Vizcaino at third. That is a foul ball. What a break for the Orioles. Just past Palmeiro, but then just barely fouled.
It's a good thing Rafi didn't touch that ball. It would have been fair.
You're reading my mind. If that ball hits his glove while he's in fair territory, while the ball's in fair territory, it would have been a fair ball.
Just foul.
Well, now he's thrown, after getting ahead of him 0-1, 3 consecutive fastballs to the outside, and you see Seitzer leaning out over the plate on that one.
Well, you can see Bobby Bonilla in right field. He's trying to get himself out of the sun anyway, and they're shading Seitzer outside, so they're probably going to pitch to Seitzer's strength, which is hitting the ball the other way. You're going to pitch him to his strength, you got to play him to his strength.
0-2 the count. There it is again. This time he took it. So that's 4 straight fastballs to the outside. Now it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jim Thome, by the way, the big left-handed batting slugger, is on deck. He would be next. 2 down in the second. 2 runs in for Cleveland. It is 3-1 for the Indians. And again the fastball out there, but again missing. 2-2.
I think it's kind of like Dave said. This is a big hitter right here for Mussina right here. You definitely have to get Seitzer out right here.
2 innings. And again, the fastball to the outside, and it's fouled away.
You know, Kirby, you had great ability to hit it all fields. I remember seeing you so many times go down the right field line. Was it easier for you to take a ball inside and go inside out, or did you like the ball away from you to do that?
Well, if it was inside, I pretty much tried to inside out it. I didn't try to pull it or pull off the ball. I tried not to. But the ball away, you can hit it away. They say it's easier to teach a guy to hit the ball the other way than pull the ball.
Bonilla battling the sun again. This time he makes the catch. Man, it looks like a nightmare out there.
I told you, it's a tough position.
2 runs for Cleveland. Another Baltimore error in the inning. Alomar, Palmeiro, and then Bobby Bonilla coming up. 3-1 Cleveland. Game 3 of the division series, the Orioles and the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland has jumped ahead in its first game in its home ballpark, 3-1. 3rd inning, in the booze are for Roberto Alomar. Today's overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp, Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. And at the controls, Captain Richard Daniels from Burbank, California. And the count, 1-1 to Alomar. And there's the Blimp. We're always happy to see him here. Roberto Alomar. Foul ball, 1-2 to Alomar. Throughout his career has always been known as one of the great second basemen in the game, an all-star, and now he's known as the bad guy. And down he goes.
Robbie asking if the ball was in the dirt, and I think they said yes. It's a foul ball? No, not a foul ball.
Now look at the people behind the Cleveland dugout as he heads back. See, Davy Johnson wanted to know what the call was.
Robbie said he fouled it and the ball was in the dirt. And they asked the first base umpire, Larry Young, and he said no.
Now Rafael Palmeiro, who popped to short his first time. Jack McDowell, who really struggled in that second inning. 31 pitches in the 1 inning alone, but he got out of a bases-loaded jam with just 1 run scoring. Now he's ahead 3-1. 3-1, Cleveland ahead. Into left center field. Bell has got room there. 2 down.
You see a fork ball in the dirt, he hits it. We can't see from my angle whether it looked like it was in the dirt a little bit, but hard to tell. Well, I guess that's a tough call right there.
It did look like he trapped it.
It did look like he trapped it.
Robbie looking back at Sandy and said, come on, brother, tell him you trapped it.
2 down, Bobby Bonilla, who singled his first time and scored a run. Franco, nice pickup. McDowell covering. And Mussina is right back out there after a huge, long inning, trailing 3-1. Cleveland 3, the Orioles 1. Game 3 of the series, but the first game here at the Jake, and everything has swung around. Cleveland back home, and they look like the swashbuckling Cleveland Indians again. The curveball to Tomey in there for a strike. Tomey grounded a short his first time. Mike Mussina laboring in those first 2 innings. He threw 45 pitches in the 2 innings. Now we've seen Jack McDowell, who also labored, settle in. And it would seem that it would be important for Mussina to settle in here too. Get the big sluggers up, Tomey, Bell, and Franco. And the Orioles could be way behind this ball game very early if Mussina's not able to put it together now. Of course, he's not had much help. The Orioles with 2 errors in the first 2 innings. That curveball called a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Albert Bell on deck. Jack McDowell threw 7 pitches in the 3rd inning to retire the Orioles. So Mussina right back out there quickly after his long second. And it goes to 2-2 now. Jim Thome, in the World Series last year, a home run against the Atlanta Braves, and watched it and kind of spun the bat away. And the Braves were very irritated by that. And that's the Cleveland Indians. That's what you expect from the Cleveland Indians. Brashness, a confidence, a cockiness. And we didn't see that from Cleveland those first 2 games.
You have a tendency to do it a little more when you're home, I think.
3-2 to Thome now. Changeup. Did he swing? No. Mark Johnson on the appeal. Ruling in Thome's favor. It's a leadoff walk.
John, we talked in game 1 about the game of first. First batter in each inning is reached for the Cleveland Indians. The error by Bonilla, the homer by Ramirez, and now a lead walk to Thome here in the 3rd inning.
Here is Albert Bell. Albert walked his first time, stole a base. Albert had only 1 hit in the 2 ball games in Baltimore, although it was a big one, a 2-run homer. Fastball fouled off to the right and back out of play. Albert, they say, likes to go back between innings when the Indians are off the field and look at his previous at-bats in the video room. See if he can pick something up against a pitcher.
Well, I think Albert looks at a certain way a pitcher's arm motion, or the way he throws a certain pitch at what angle, and he wants to get the edge. Any way you can get the edge in this game, that's what you need to do. And Albert's been very successful in doing that.
Curveball, base hit, look out. Man, that almost took Mussina's body with it.
I don't know how it missed him. They call third base the hot corner. The hot corner is 90 feet away. Mussina, when he finishes throwing, is about 55 feet away. You talk about chuck and duck.
Whoa.
Threw Albert a curveball, and as you know, Albert stayed back well. Makes that big bat right through the zone, right up the middle. I don't know how it missed him. I know he's probably thanking God right now that he didn't get hit by that ball. He'd probably be dead.
Baseball, a non-contact sport.
Yes, as we know it, yes.
2 men on, nobody out, and here is Julio Franco. And here is Cleveland trying to bury Mike Mussina early. And of course, this is looking very similar to Mussina's other starts against Cleveland this year. Cleveland jumped on him right away in the other 2 ball games. A little bit here, a little bit there. And somebody hit a big home run against him, and out he went. Franco looking to bunt, takes a called strike. That surprise you guys?
Well, again, we've seen in postseason. I mean, Tony Gwynn bunted yesterday, only the 2nd time all year. Tim Raines, the 1st time. Pudge Rodriguez in the game, game 2, bunted for the 1st time since 1993. Seem to be playing a little different in postseason than they did during the regular season.
Trying to do anything they can to get the runs, because that's what it's all about. If you want to win a ball game, you got to go score more runs than the opposition.
There's Bell at first base, Thome at second base. The Orioles now move in at the corners. Zeal at third and Palmeiro at first, both in on the grass now. Franco not bunting. Ripken with a tremendous play, and they get Bell at second base. Alomar covering. Wow, he has done it again.
I tell you, every place you hit the ball, Cal standing right there. What a great play that was right there to keep it running, keep the double play in order also.
You know, from our vantage point, John, I didn't think he had any kind of chance at that ball. It looked like it was already past him in the left field.
And I was writing base hit in my scorebook already. What a play by Ripken.
I guess it does help to be 6'5", 6'6" sometimes.
Well, he needed all of it there.
It's a great play.
So at worst, Cleveland would have had the bases loaded and nobody out. They might have even gotten a run out of that one had Cal not gotten to it. Now he goes over to say something to Zeal as Manny Ramirez stands in first and third with 1 out.
Mike Mussina is not fooling the Cleveland hitters.
Ramirez hit a soaring home run down the left field line his first time. Back into the standing room section here at Cleveland. Middle infield double play depth. Palmeiro on the back at first with Franco. Ball one.
I think Mike knew he had his work cut out for him today, guys, when looked at that lineup, and the first 6 guys in the lineup are hitting 300. That's a pretty tough job for any pitcher.
And of course, as we mentioned, almost all of them hitting 300 or much better against Mussina in their career. 1 ball, no strikes. And Franco back to the bag at first.
And on the other hand, Jack McDowell has to face an Orioles club that broke the all-time record for home runs for a team. So, I mean, both these pitchers have their work cut out for them. Right now, Mussina has to get a ball down and hopefully get Manny to hit a ball on the ground. They can turn a double play and kind of stop him from scoring right here.
1 out. This could be 2. Alomar to Ripken for 1. Cal back to first. 2. Double play. And the inning is over. And Cal Ripken has bailed out his teammate Mike Mussina here in the 3rd. We head to the 4th. It'll be Cal Ripken and then Eddie Murray coming up. 3-1 Cleveland. Sun, the setting sun out beyond the Jake here in Cleveland. And of course, the Cleveland Indians are hoping that it's not a metaphor for their season. They've jumped out ahead of the Orioles today, facing elimination, and they are leading 3-1 in this game that they must win. Cal Ripken takes the ball from Jack McDowell. Ripken keeping the Orioles very much alive themselves in this ball game with his defensive play in the 3rd inning. Check swing. And Durwood said he swung at it. Cal goes back to talk to him about that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Didn't look like a swing to me. I guess I'm a hitter. I guess I'm biased, but I call it like I see it in me right there. It didn't look like he went. Didn't look like he went. No, I didn't think so.
1 ball, 1 strike. McDowell getting the call on the split finger pitch there. Ripken comes back, though it doesn't bother him. Base hit into right center field. He really hit it hard. Lofton slips on the grass out there, but holds Ripken to a single. Nicely done by Kenny Lofton. I mentioned Cal's defensive work in the 3rd inning.
That was a bullet hit by Julio right there. I thought that ball was past Cal right there. It's a great play.
Well, Robbie Alomar also makes a terrific play in between half hop. Best double play combination in baseball, and they turn a big one. I think the play by Ripken saved Mussina not only a run, I think it kept him in the game because the Oriole bullpen was hot.
Now Eddie Murray with Ripken at first. Cal with 6 hits in this series now. Murray singled to left center his first time, and Murray has 3 hits. He went 2 for 3 in game 2 on Wednesday with a big RBI double in that one. Ripken and Murray hitting 6th and 7th respectively in the Orioles batting order. Back in the World Championship year they had in '83, they hit 3rd and 4th. So hasn't changed all that much, and one's right after the other. It's just a little bit lower in the batting order now.
John, the interesting thing to me about this ball game today is you have a team that set the all-time record in home runs, 257, the Orioles. The Indians hit 218, and yet they're playing very aggressive base running all over the place. They're taking it to the opposition. They're not just playing for the big inning.
Base hit for Eddie Murray. Ripken around second. He'll hold. Lofton really hustled in after that ball to make sure that Cal did not take liberties. So the 2 old guys, Ripken and Murray.
Well, I talked to Eddie last night, and he said he was having a great time just making it back and being welcomed by the people in Baltimore. He said he was having a great time and enjoying it. I guess when you get to be 40 years old and still playing the game like Eddie Murray and Paul Molitor, and you get to achieve the things that they've achieved, that sometimes it's the small things that mean the most.
John, I think especially sweet for Eddie because a lot of people in Cleveland thought not only had he slowed down running, which is pretty obvious, although he has stolen a base today, but they thought the bat speed was reduced, and that's why they traded him. But he's come back with 2 big hits today.
B.J. Surhoff called a strike. Surhoff struck out with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 2nd inning. Actually, at that time, Runners were at first and third with one out. Here's Ripken at second. Murray at first. 3-1 Cleveland ahead. Nobody out. Tomey shortened up at third. And that's a ball. Off-speed delivery. 1 ball and 1 strike.
John, the three of us were talking in between inning. As hard as Cleveland has hit the ball today, they have not been able to put the Orioles away. They're now 3 for 22 with men in scoring position in the series.
Albert Bell. And it goes to 1-2. The split fingered pitch there, it looked like.
Seems to be giving BJ some problems. Last time up, Jack started him off with a curveball, and then he threw him 2 forkballs. And now he let him off with a fastball this time. And now he's throwing him a couple forkballs. He seems to be way out in front of the forkball, and he wants to make sure he gets the ball up right here and get something he can drive. I know it's easier than it looks.
All right, this is going to be a forkball again?
I think so.
Curveball. And he grounds it foul. Well, I mean, why not throw the forkball here? He hadn't shown he can hit it. He hadn't been able to lay off it.
Well, I think he's just showing him a ball on a different plane. I think as a hitter, pitchers talk about maybe moving up the ladder or something, just showing him something different. Now, not only does BJ have to think about the forkball in the dirt, he's showing him a curveball on a higher plane. He might even throw him a high fastball right here.
2 men on, nobody out. And he did.
Well, that's the thing. If you get the hitter, and Kirby's exactly right, if you get the hitter thinking about that split finger pitch, then you can go up, take him up the ladder, or you can pound a fastball in. So McDowell really working Surhoff over right now.
I always thought Kirby just went up there hacking, but apparently you did.
Well,
Spend some time thinking about it.
Well, sometimes I had a plan. It didn't always work, but against certain pitches, it's hard because these big league pitches change patterns on you.
Curveball. There's a high drive deep in the right center against the wind. This one is way back, and it's gone. Baltimore has gone ahead. Can you believe that? Just as you mentioned, Dave, Cleveland had a chance to put the Orioles away. Didn't do it, and now Baltimore has gone ahead. Unbelievable.
Well, B.J. Surhoff hits his 3rd homer of the series. McDowell got the forkball up, and B.J. maybe sitting there looking for it. You know, he's a smart hitter, too, and when you make a mistake and you get an inkling something's coming.
All right. He threw him that curve, and it was all right. I buy that. He threw him the high fastball, but how come he never went back to that splitter?
Well, either that was a splitter or a hook right there, but it was up. Was that a curve?
That was a breaking ball. Yeah, it was up, and I think BJ might have been looking. He figured he threw him a curveball before, and he just fouled it off, threw him a forkball the previous pitch. He fouled off the high fastball, so I guess he must have been looking for that curveball, and he did exactly what you're supposed to do with it. Hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Todd Zeile, Roberto Alomar, following the progress of it.
Well, this is turning into a war of attrition, and I know for Jack McDowell, his philosophy in a game like this is, if I can stay out there longer than the other guy, I can win. Neither guy is on their game today, but these two guys are just going to have to start battling and get some outs.
B.J. Surhoff with his 3rd home run of this series. Missed a long ball. This Orioles the hitter. And the count is 0-2. Orioles walked his first time. Brady Anderson on deck. And so Surhoff looked so bad in the 2nd inning with a runner at 3rd and less than 2 down in striking out. And I'm still in the back of my head, and I said it ahead of time. I'm not second guessing him here. I don't understand why we didn't see any more forkballs there. I mean, neither one of those curveballs looked too good to me. I mean, you mentioned the first time that first curveball was up that he fouled off.
Well, I'm sure Jack wanted to throw it. He just didn't want to throw it exactly where he threw it. I think maybe he wanted to get it down in the zone a little bit. Maybe get B.J. to hit a ground ball. But that ball was up, and B.J. put a good swing on it and knocked it out of the park.
Right back to McDowell. Franco lost his hat, but got the foot out.
John, are they playing a little bit of Earl Weaver baseball? 3-run homers and great defense?
Well, that's the formula. The defense kept him in the ball game in the 3rd by Ripken, and now the 3-run homer here in the 4th.
With all the offense that went on in baseball this year, the pitchers have a tough job, and I can kind of feel for them. A lot of offensive numbers this year. You got a guy hitting leadoff for Baltimore Orioles who had 50 home runs this year. A lot of offense.
Brady Anderson got an RBI, being hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, and he is 0 for 1. Also popped out. 4-3. The Orioles are on top here in the 4th inning. And 1 strike. The other part of that Earl Weaver formula was
good pitching.
Defense, defense, 3-run homers, and pitching. And of course, that's what we don't know about the Orioles today. Mike Mussina, real shaky. Chad O.J. up in the bullpen for Cleveland. They've certainly given Mussina a lift now. 1-2 to Anderson.
Jack popping that fastball in there pretty good now. He's hitting his spots. That makes him even tougher when he's hitting his spots with that fastball. That's the second fastball in a row. He's thrown on the outside part of the plate for a strike.
Fastball. The appeal denied by Mark Johnson over third base. 2-2 to Brady Anderson.
See Sandy Alomar trying to get any edge you can right there. Trying to get any help at all.
Trying to get the fans involved.
Inside, missing. That one is hit deep. Right center field. Ramirez will catch up to this one. And Brady Anderson is retired. 2 men down. Coming up tomorrow, the Yankees and Rangers, game 3. Actually, be game 4 by tomorrow at the ballpark in Arlington right here on ESPN. The Dodgers and the Braves at 4 o'clock on Fox. That'll be game 3 in Atlanta. And, of course, the ball game on NBC. The Cardinals and the San Diego Padres tomorrow night. And, of course, if this series continues, we'll have it for you on ESPN2 at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Todd Zeile, 0-1 the count. And that is a foul down the left field line. Zeile has hit a single off the left field wall, and he is struck out. Zeile apparently broke his bat on that one.
I know that hurt. That hurt right there, too.
Cleveland dugout really trying to get the crowd into this ball game. We saw Nigel Wilson on the bench with the towel down there, and he's been joined down there now.
Well, unfortunately, cheerleading's not going to get it done. They got to get it done with the bats and with the arms right now. And Jack's job right here is to just keep it close as possible and give his troops a chance to get into the dugout and swing the bats and hopefully get some runs for him.
Jack's had one of the same problems Charles Nagy had in game 1, elevating the ball. And when you do that for home run hitters, you do about 3/4 of the job for them.
1-2 to Zeile. Roberto Alomar out on deck. He would be next. 3 runs in for Baltimore. It's the Orioles 4, the Indians 3 in the 4th. Might have been that splitter there. Didn't dip a whole lot, but just enough apparently. Alan Embry now has joined Chad O.J. in the Cleveland bullpen. O.J.'s been up a couple of times in this game.
Well, Zeile hits way up in the box, as you can see. He doesn't hit on the back chalk like a lot of hitters do. He hits right in front of the plate and try to catch that splitter before it goes down on him.
Struck him out. Another splitter. 4-3 Baltimore now. We go to the last of the 4th inning. Sandy Alomar is coming up. Well, Cleveland jumped ahead for the first time in this series today, but all of a sudden, the Orioles are the team with the lead. 4-3 Baltimore. Last of the 4th inning. Sandy Alomar leads it off. And a strike from Mike Mussina. Mussina has had a problem in every inning of this game up till now, but Cal Ripken and Roberto Alomar kind of rode to the rescue for him defensively there in the 3rd. And then B.J. Surhoff turned the game around in his favor in the 4th. We'll see if Mussina can keep it that way. Good low fastball, and the count is 0-2 to Alomar, who grounded to short his first time. Omar Vizquel and Jose Vizcaíno scheduled up next. Mussina, 1 strikeout, 2 walks, 1 of the runs against him, an unearned run. It remains 0-2. Jack McDowell He had his best inning in the third, 3 up and 3 down against 3 outstanding hitters. And then his worst inning in the fourth, Ripken and Murray with the base hits and B.J. Surhoff with a big fly. Randy Anderson out there right on the edge of the shadows now in center field. Foul back again, still 0-2.
John, last night the Atlanta Braves did not play very good defense early. Ryan Klesko, Marquise Grissom were theirs, but they overcame it with 3 solo homers. The Orioles today, 1 home run, but a big one, a 3-run shot, overcomes a little bit of a shaky defense in the early going.
And of course, and Greg Maddux, despite the shaky defense, held the line. And that's high for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sandy Alomar.
Did I see the box score right? He only threw 14 balls yesterday.
72 pitches over 7 innings.
Unbelievable.
And down he goes. Sandy Alomar, the strikeout victim here in the fourth. Tonight at 8 Eastern here on ESPN, it's the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche back in action. They're led by goalie Patrick Roy and playoff MVP Joe Sakic. That's the Avalanche. And the St. Louis Blues tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Brett Hull, we saw him yesterday at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. He had an all-time record crowd at the ballpark in St. Louis yesterday. Talk about a veteran presence in the ball club. I mean, the Cardinals are really playing well. And it's the old guys who are leading them right now. Gary Gaetti, Ron Gant, a big 3-run double yesterday, and Honeycutt and Eckersley coming out of the bullpen in both games of that series. Omar Vizquel, he got a rally started in the second inning with a bunt for a base hit.
Dennis Eckersley gave himself a 42nd birthday present yesterday with another save.
Just like old times for Eck. He and Honeycutt both now 42. That's another base hit for Vizquel. Ripken hustles after it and holds Vizquel to a single. Vizquel makes him throw the ball to second base.
That's what you're supposed to do as a runner.
Good sizing up by Cal, though. You could see that ball was going to be over Zeal's head. He knew it was going to be a long run for Surhoff, so Ripken went immediately in the left field to get that ball.
Yeah, if Rip doesn't get that ball, it's definitely going to be a double. BJ's playing in. There was nothing BJ could do to stop Omar from getting a double on that play. If BJ feels that ball, Omar's going to keep going for sure.
Vizquel, 35 steals during the season. And of course, we've seen Cleveland run at every opportunity so far today.
Well, Mussina does a pretty good job with a slide step and a quick delivery, but Hoyles obviously is struggling throwing, so they're going to take advantage of that.
Vizquel, 35 steals, only caught 9 times.
If the Orioles have a lead late, you'll see Mark Parent behind the plate.
Vizquel takes ball 1. Now, Vizquel took a couple of quick steps as though he were running, and Hoyles thought he was.
Has to do the best he can right now to really do anything he can to get the best possible throw he can to handle and come out with his best throw, because you know Omar's going to be running here pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to be on this pitch. It's going to be pretty soon. I would think earlier.
Vizcaíno doubled home Vizquel back in the second inning. And that is a foul down the left field line.
John, with the left-handed batter up there, the catcher gets help from the dugout, so when whatever coach is watching saw Vizquel make the break, he yelled, "There he goes," because with a lefty up there, the catcher can't see that runner all the time.
In the regular year, I mean, Hoyles threw out less than 1 out of every 5, about 1 out of every 6 who attempted to steal against him.
Must have been me throughout, huh?
Did he get you once?
Hoyles has an arthritic condition in his right shoulder, and it's just not going to go away. Some days are better than others. He gets treatment for it before every game.
Well, this isn't the kind of day where your shoulder's going to feel very good. It is chilly here.
1-1 the count to Vizcaíno. Leadoff man Kenny Lofton is on deck. 1 out, Vizquel at first. It's Baltimore 4, Cleveland 3 in the last of the 4th inning. And Vizquel is back. The amazing thing we saw in game 1, David Wells, a left-hander, and runners almost ran at will against he and Hoyles. And then Erickson in game 2 gave up more steals in his games than any other pitcher in the league. And yet here's Mussina working with the same catcher, only 10 steal attempts against him all year long, and only 5 made it.
Well, I think that slide step helps quite a bit. Mussina's pretty quick to the plate, and he's going to slide step when he thinks that runner's going. And if he can, I mean, Vizquel has to read him just right if he's going to take off over there. Just take off at first movement and hopefully take his chances that Hoyles can't get him.
Cleveland has stolen 2 bases already today. In fact, 2 in the first inning. Vizquel heading for third. He'll be held at third. A double for Vizcaino again. The last 2 men in the batting order are both 2 for 2.
Jose Vizcaino replaced maybe the most popular Cleveland player in Carlos Baerga, and he's been under a microscope the entire time he's been here, but he's come up huge this afternoon.
Good swing right off Rafi's glove. That's a tough play. Rafi sliding across to hopefully get a ground ball right at him. He gets a bullet here right at him, right off his glove.
Bonilla had a long run to go get that one to make sure that Vizquel did not come around to score.
John, we mentioned at the top of the telecast, Surhoff playing with a knee problem, Rafael Palmeiro with a bad ankle. You just wonder if the push-off was affected as he was trying to dive for that ball. Palmeiro's had a bad left ankle for the last 2 weeks.
Pat Dobson, the pitching coach, having spoken with Mussina, and there's Rocky Coppinger, the young right-hander.
Coppinger was talking to Dobson before game 2, and he said, "Pat, what's my role?" And Pat said, "When the phone rings and I say Rocky, you get up."
So Mike Mussina back in trouble again, and he has been in trouble in every inning of this game. Security out on the field talking to Bobby Bonilla. I don't know if somebody threw something at him or what. They were talking something over out there. Coppinger has been joined in the bullpen by a left-hander, Arthur Rhodes, for Baltimore. Zeal very shallow at third. Palmeiro moved in at first. Middle infielders backed up. Palmeiro with Vizquel heading home. Got him in the rundown now. Now Kenny Lofton is not even running. And there's the out, and Kenny Lofton is only at first base. What was Lofton doing? I can't believe it.
I don't know. Hoyles did the right thing, though. He just ran the man back to third base, and he knows that Vizquel has the right to the base because he had it previously occupied. Then he tagged Vizcaino out. He knew which guy to tag him, but why Lofton wasn't going harder, I don't know.
Yes, Kenny just thought that Rafi wasn't even close to tagging the back. You see Rafi shooting. He's going on contact right here. Rafi catches it, sees him coming, just throws it. I don't know what Kenny was thinking. Maybe he thought he was going to get hit or something, but there's no excuse for Kenny not running right there.
Again, you see Vizcaino already on the bag, and it's the man who had the base first. He has the right to the base. But if we watch Lofton, Kenny going, whoa, what's happening? Kenny, you better go to first base, pal. You might get a double play on you.
As fast as Kenny runs, he probably should have been on second base right there.
Absolutely.
He looked like he thought he was sitting in a box seat there. Well, he will be running, I have a feeling, soon. Of course, you got Vizquel still at third base. I thought that was pretty clever, though, the way Vizcaino allowed Vizquel to get back, and so that Vizcaino was the man that got tagged out, the slower runner of the two. I mean, if Lofton runs here, Hoyles, I bet, doesn't even throw the ball through. Seitzer fouls one back.
Well, you know Hoyles has seen that play before, though, because when he got down there, he didn't even bother tagging Omar, because, again, the guy that had the base previously has the right to the base, and Hoyles just went over and tagged out Vizcaino.
But I mean, 2 runners there thinking about what they're doing the whole time. I mean, I'd like to see that kind of heads-up play.
Well, Vizcaino was going on contact as soon as it was hit, so.
Vizquel at third. Lofton at first. There's that double fake.
John, one of the greatest base running plays I ever saw, 1960 World Series. Mickey Mantle on first base. Yogi Berra ripped one down to the first baseman. First baseman ran over and tagged the bag, and Mantle ducked back into first base instead of being doubled out at second, and the Yankees ended up tying up that game because of that base running play.
There goes Lofton. But the ball is hit high and foul and out of play down the right field line. I just don't understand Lofton. I mean, his game is speed. I mean, here's Vizquel getting into a rundown to let Lofton get to second base. And Lofton standing there 40 feet from first base watching the whole thing.
I think it's a ball player's expression for it called vapor lock.
Man. 0-2 the count to Seitzer. 2 down. There goes Lofton. Base hit. Vizquel scores the tying run. Lofton to third. Kevin Seitzer delivers in the clutch.
Today, but last time when Mussina got Seitzer out, we said that was a huge out for Mussina. On the other side of the coin, when it looked like it was going to disintegrate for the Indians here, Kevin Seitzer gets a big RBI single to pick up his teammates.
Could have been a 2 RBI single, but Lofton was at first base.
Well, now he's at third base. He got to drove in 100 runs up to the plate. It doesn't get any easier. Mr. Mussina.
Right, still with a chance for Lofton to get home anyway. Jim Thome, 4-4. Kevin Seitzer with his second RBI of the game. And here's Thome. He has grounded to short, and he has walked. 38 home runs during the season. Strike. And the whole ballpark is resonating right now. 42,000 plus, and everybody's on their feet. We're in the 4th inning, and this place is going nuts.
Like watching it's not like watching a Mike Tyson fight, but it's like watching some real good fighters just jab at each other. Just jab but can't put the other one away.
No, these two lineups is like a couple of heavyweights, isn't it? A lot of power, a lot of thunder. Curveball. 1-1 now.
I'm also thinking it's cold. Pitchers still breaking balls. Jack McDowell, the curveball that B.J. Surhoff hit out. Now we've seen him throwing his knuckle curve. But it's so cold out, you can't get the proper grip on the ball that you like to get, and sometimes it slips out and it hangs. And right now, what you want to do is make sure that you don't make a mistake with your number 2 or 3 pitch.
Back with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Thome.
Kirby and John both at the beginning of the season, usually when it's cold in April, a lot of people say that for the touch and feel pitchers, the guys with a good changeup and the sliders, it's very difficult for them to get into a groove. That's why they like the warmer weather. This is power pitcher weather. There's no question about it.
This kind of weather is for guys that have real good movement on their balls. To tail away like maybe an Oral Hershiser, or somebody has a lot of movement on their ball. Today would be a good day for them to pitch. Or a guy like Nolan Ryan.
John Smoltz, Steve Avery when he's right. Those guys love this kind of weather.
Cleveland 4. Baltimore 4. Last of the 4. 2-2 out. And the curveball struck him out. That is real big. Mussina again on the precipice there. Stays alive. Well, you can hear by the sounds that Roberto Alomar is at the plate. Alomar 0 for 2 in the game. And the fork ball is low.
penalties for hits.
Two and two now to Alomar. Alomar has always worn this guy out, but today he has hit a comebacker and he has struck out against him. And this is part of the price that Alomar is going to pay. Not just today, but it's going to follow him for a long time. 3 and 2. Down they go.
Blackjack just ran back, just throwing nice hard heat right by Allen. Right by him.
Rafael Palmeiro now. Ball one. Palmeiro has popped to short and flying to left. The top of the Orioles' batting order has not done much so far today. Called a strike on the outside. Alomar 0 for 3 in the 3 spot. Palmeiro 0 for 2 in the 4 spot. Zeal hitting second, 1 for 3 out. Anderson hitting first, 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch. Hit hard. Lofton 2 down.
John, you just have to wonder, though, had the injunction not been granted today, and had we used replacement umpires, what would Peter Evangelos, the owner of the Orioles, have done? He refused to have replacement players. You think he'd have done anything with his team if replacement umpires came in?
Well, and again, I mean, you're interviewing me now, and I'm not going to even attempt to speak for the owner of the Orioles. But it was probably a rhetorical question anyway. Jim Thome catching the foul pop off the bat of Bobby Bonilla. We're halfway through it with Albert Bell coming up. Cleveland 4, Baltimore 4. John Miller, Dave Campbell, and Kirby Puckett from Jacobs Field in Cleveland. It is 4-4. Mike Mussina. It seems like in every inning there's been a point where you say, man, this could be his last pitch. And he has had to battle through in every inning. They've had that bullpen working. So now he'll try it again. He's given up 4 runs and 7 hits in the first 4 innings. Albert Bell has walked and singled against him, and he leads it off. Albert helped him out a little bit there.
I think both managers know that both pitchers have a tremendous amount of heart, and we go back to what Jack McDowell used to tell the young pitchers on the Chicago White Sox. The goal to win is stay out there longer than the other guy. These guys are not on their A game today, but they're still battling.
Right to Palmeiro. He waited for it, but played the tough hop, and Albert Bell is out number 1.
Mussina did a smart thing by keeping the ball away from Albert. I had a feeling he wasn't going to see another curveball. He almost killed Mussina last at bat with a curveball. Albert steps in the bucket a little bit there and pitches away from him. He just kind of feels for it right there. Doesn't really swing the bat like he's accustomed to doing.
I think maybe Albert was looking in, figuring Mussina didn't want to get anything out over the plate again.
I know he wasn't going to get a curveball again. I know that much.
Julio Franco now 0 for 2. And it is 0-1. 4 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors for Baltimore, including a home run by B.J. Surhoff, a 3-run shot in the 4th. Cleveland 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors, with a home run by Manny Ramirez, a solo in the 2nd. Franco has struck out and hit into a force play. And after the off-speed pitch, he was behind that fastball.
Well, Julio's one of them guys. He was 3 for 15 against Mussina this year. So doesn't have a pretty good success against him, but he's up there hacking away. That's the only way you're going to get a chance at him is to go up there and swing.
So both Mussina and McDowell have been a little shaky throughout this ball game. Cleveland with a run in the first, 2 runs in the second, and a run in the fourth. McDowell gave up a run to the Orioles in the second and 3 in the fourth. And really, the way the game has been played for a football game, you'd say that Cleveland had controlled the ball 2/3 of the time. I mean, every time they come up, runners all over the bases, they're stealing bases, they're making things happen, and yet Baltimore with that one big fly right there with them, 4-4 in the fifth. Struck him out. 2 down. It's the first time that he's had 2 down and nobody on in any inning.
As you know, as a hitter and as a pitcher in this game, what you try to do is exploit other people's weaknesses. And I'm sure Julio Franco knows that he doesn't have much success against Mussina. And might just keep that change up or that fastball away from Julio, and he's reaching and can't touch it.
Throwing 7 pitches in the inning, 6 of them strikes. That's a pretty good key, too. We talked about getting ahead of the hitters.
Mike better be careful with this guy.
Ramirez already has a home run in this one. Curveball, strike, and it's 0-1. Ramirez then grounded into an inning-ending double play back in the 3rd inning, which was a big moment of this game for Mussina as well.
You see what Manny did when he threw that curveball. Manny flinched, and as a hitter, once you flinch, you're pretty much given up on the ball itself.
Fastball, and misses. Not by much. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mussina asking, was it down? And of course, Durwood shakes head. Yeah, no question.
I said Durwood doesn't want any problems. He wants the boat just to smooth, just to keep sailing smooth, and hopefully not run into any confrontations.
2 down, nobody on. 1-2.
All afternoon, Mussina's had a good fastball. It really has been a problem of location. He's had his breaking ball up when he's gotten hurt, but he's had good velocity on the fastball all afternoon.
Both of these pitchers seem to be popping the ball up there pretty good.
Both of them came in well rested. That could play a part, too.
And a foul into the upper deck off the first base side. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ramirez. 2 down and nobody on. Well, Mussina has had 4 strikeouts in the game, and 3 of them have come in the last 2 innings.
20 out of 24 first pitch strikes. Sometimes, though, then he's run the string out to 2-1. That's when he's gotten hurt more than any other time today.
He has had a hard time putting guys away. That one hit into deep center field, but Anderson is there, right against the wind. So Cleveland, for the first time today, has been retired in order. Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray, B.J. Surhoff coming up in a tie game. Game 3 of the division series between the Orioles and the Indians. I'm John Miller with Dave Campbell and Kirby Puckett. And this series, which has been such a surprise, with Baltimore, the wild card team, putting it to the mighty Cleveland Indians a couple of times in Baltimore. Now the venue has changed, and of course Cleveland's game has changed, but still they've been unable to shake off the Orioles. One reason, the man standing in right there, the veteran Cal Ripken. He takes a changeup for a strike. Cal made the tremendous defensive play that saved at least a run in the 3rd inning on a ball hit by Franco. Then in the very next half inning, he led off with a single against McDowell, starting a 3-run Baltimore rally and put the Orioles ahead. He's had 6 hits in this series. Shallow center. Lofton started out. Vizcaíno goes out the ground.
Ball doesn't seem like it's really carrying today. I thought that the ball that Manny Ramirez hit last inning, I thought that he hit that ball really good, and the wind just knocked it down. He hit it pretty good. Just goes to show you why these center fielders play so shallow. Brady and Lofton can go get them, and as you can see, the wind is just knocking everything down to straightaway center. To the right field and to the right of the 375 side, the ball just carries, and of course, if you hit it down the line, either line is going to go out.
The big Baltimore home run, Surhoff was out into right center to the right of the 375 marker. And Manny Ramirez with the Cleveland home run in the second, right down the left field line. Eddie Murray, 2 for 2 back here in Cleveland. 1 ball to no strikes to Murray. Murray all of a sudden had a pretty good playoff series. He's 4 for 9 in this series.
He's doing things that he likes to do. It's just nice and quiet, and just go about doing his job as he's done for 20 years now.
Lofton. He hit it hard, but he is gone. 2 down, and now the Orioles' leading home run hitter in this series is coming up. B.J. Surhoff, in his first postseason at bat, hit one against Charles Nagy at Camden Yards. And then later in the same game, he did it again against Paul Shuey. He shot into the center field bleachers. And now a huge home run today against Jack McDowell, a 3-run shot.
Curveball. Jack McDowell threw him a curveball and kind of hung it. And B.J. deposited in the right field seats.
Well, Mike Hargrove now, before Surhoff's at bat here, has gone to the mound to talk with Jack McDowell.
I don't think he's talking to Jack about taking him out, or is he? Did make the call, and for Jack McDowell, he gives the ball to Hargrove. Mike said sometimes he breaks my hand when I ask for it.
The left-hander Embry's coming in. McDowell had just retired 8 in a row, but he won't face Surhoff. Orioles 4, Indians 4, top of the 6th, 2 down, nobody on. And you're looking at the view from the Goodyear Blimps, Stars and Stripes. The Goodyear Blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage, and we're very happy to have them here with us today, providing those beautiful views of the Jake in downtown Cleveland. Alan Embry, young, hard-throwing lefty, on to face Surhoff. And did I say he was hard throwing? Did I mention that?
Yes, you did.
1 ball and no strikes.
9-1. Not bad. He can throw harder than that, too.
Surhoff down the right field line. Ramirez into the corner. But it's in amongst the spectators out there. Well, Jack McDowell, a veteran pitcher, making nearly $5 million a year. Always noted for his endurance, getting stronger in a big ball game as the game goes along. He'd retired 8 in a row since Surhoff's 3-run homer. And suddenly, without any kind of a jam at all, he's gone. It's kind of a surprise.
And the other interesting thing is when Mike Hargrove was talking to him, he was nodding in agreement. So that's going to be one of those things that'll be a very interesting question for Mike Hargrove in the post-game and for Jack McDowell.
91 pitches for McDowell. Embry just missing with that fastball. 93 miles an hour there. 2-1 now to Surhoff.
Jack's always been one of them pitchers that he got stronger as the game went on. So he retired about 8 in a row. So I don't understand. You know, it's not up to me to second guess Hargrove's moves. That's why you get paid the big bucks to be the manager.
Well, sometimes there's such things we don't know. Maybe McDowell said something to him in between innings, but again, you don't see Jack McDowell nodding and just handing the ball to the manager. If he really wanted to stay in, he probably would have pounded that thing and broken the blood vessels on Hargrove's hand.
Well, Kirby mentions second guessing him, and I agree with you, Kirby. I'm not going to second guess him until I see if the move works or not.
That's right. We're with you, win or tie, right?
Chad O.J., a right-hander, another young pitcher, still up in the Cleveland bullpen. 2 down, nobody on in the 6th inning. Embry does throw hard, but they would like for him to develop an off-speed pitch, but basically he's got the one pitch. And he comes after you with that every time.
Well, if I threw 93 miles an hour, I think you would know what's coming when I'm pitching, too, if I didn't have anything else.
Down the left field line, Bell into the corner. Nice catch by Albert Bell. It's still 4-4, last of the 6th inning. Alomar in And then those killer V's. Vizquel and Vizcaino. We are in Cleveland. There's the Jake. And, of course, the downtown skyline and then the shores of Lake Erie. And you can just make out there beyond the real tall tower, the old ballpark of the Municipal Stadium. Coming up tonight on NBC, Game 3, the Yankees and Rangers, they shift to Texas. And, of course, complete day in baseball coming up on Baseball Tonight here on ESPN at midnight. Mike Mussina still in there. Called strike to Sandy Alomar. The 7, 8, 9 hitters for Cleveland. Alomar is 0 for 2, but the next two guys, Vizquel and Vizcaino, have been two of the biggest problems for him today. The two of them are 4 for 4 combined. A couple of runs. Alomar fouled on the right field line. A lot of ball games tomorrow. Yankees and Rangers 1 o'clock right here on ESPN. That's game 4 of that series. The Dodgers and Braves 4 o'clock game 3 on Fox. The Cardinals and Padres in San Diego game 3 7:30 on NBC. And if necessary, game 4 of this series on ESPN 2 and 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific tomorrow. 0-2 to Sandy Alomar. Struck him out.
Sandy trying to hit that ball from Mussina, and that high fastball looks pretty inviting as a hitter. But when it's up there, it's really hard to hit, and especially Mussina threw it up there. We was ahead in the count and just try to waste a pitch, and know if he threw it in there, maybe Sandy would swing, and he did.
Johnny struck out 4 out of the last 5 batters, so his stuff is plenty good. He's into the 90s in pitch count and showing no signs of backing off.
Omar Vizquel 2 for 2, 2 runs scored. Strike on a fastball. Vizquel got a bunt single in the second. Sorry, Dave, and scored a run, and single in the 4th starting around. Scored again.
Just talking about that first pitch strike. 22 out of 26 hitters for Mussina.
And it's very true to form for Mussina. In good times and bad. Always seemed to have the theory that, hey, whatever, I'm throwing a strike. And if you hit it, okay, but I'm trying to get ahead of you.
Sometimes control gets better late. The other day, John Smoltz, the last 17 pitches he threw in the 8th and 9th inning were strikes against the Dodgers.
Mussina is closing in on 100 pitches for this game. We're only in the 6th. Curveball, 1 and 2. Now the Cleveland bullpen is busy. We cannot see into the Baltimore bullpen from our vantage point here. But Paul Shuey is up again in the Cleveland bullpen. The hard-throwing right-handed. And we're told that the Baltimore bullpen is quiet now. There's Shuey. Another real hard thrower.
A lot of these guys and pitchers Cleveland have, you don't have to meet them halfway. They'll come and meet you.
Changeup. Did he swing? Yes. Durwood Merrill made the call himself. So Mussina retires Vizquel for the first time.
That goes to show you right there that Mussina is a horse, and he's out there and he's getting locked in, and you see him turn that changeup over, and Vizquel couldn't stay back, and he definitely went on the swing. It was a tough pitch to lay off of.
Pat Dobson was telling me that Mussina can throw that knuckle curveball, and we see it coming out. He can make it go down and away to left-handed batters. Great looking pitch.
And there's ball 1 to Vizcaino. He's doubled twice. And driven home 1. And a foul out of play off to the left. Vizcaino, remember, has only been batting left-handed the last 2.5 weeks or so with a bad left hand. But he is hitting pretty well left-handed from what we've seen here in this series. Well, the Baltimore bullpen is busy now. Jesse Orozco, he is up with the left-handed batting. Kenny Lofton on deck. 4-4, 6th inning, 2 down. Ripken on 1 bounce. Vizcaino is gone. Mussina has had 2 consecutive 3-up and 3-down innings. We head to the 7th inning. Hoyles, Anderson, and Zeal coming up. It's time. Game American League Division Series. Baltimore and Cleveland heading into the late innings down. There's Paul Shuey, bearded right-hander, real hard thrower, but he really got roughed up in his Game 1 appearance in Baltimore. A grand slam home run allowed to Bonilla, and then later Surhoff also took him deep. Shuey with some pretty good numbers during the regular year. He kind of matured as a pitcher this year. He used to be just a hard thrower who couldn't get the ball over the plate.
Well, Mike Hargrove showing confidence in him coming back. Telling Shuey everybody has a bad outing once in a while, but I'm still coming back.
Hoyles has walked and hit a comebacker. He's 0 for 1. Now the left-handed batting, power hitter Brady Anderson is on deck. And then the right-handed batting Zeal due up third in the inning. 4-4 in the 7th. Shuey, the third Cleveland pitcher.
John, I have a feeling if Hoyles gets on, maybe Davey Johnson pinch runs for him, get some speed in there to get the go-ahead run, and then get better defense with Parrott. But let's see if Hoyles gets on first.
Gave no indication of getting on in that last swing.
Negatory.
1-2 the count. Even with the hard thrower out there, the infield way around toward the third base side against Hoyles, and they're guarding both foul lines in the infield now. Well, that pitch,
ouch,
that was a ball. And Sandy Alomar.
I bet he won't call that one again.
Sandy, well, he blocked it as if there was somebody on base there.
Well, he's practicing good habits. You know, that's a tough pitch out in front of the plate, and Sandy doing what he's supposed to do and block it, but that hurt right there, especially in this cold weather. That hurt. This is a fastball right here. There's no doubt about it.
And it's a base hit for Hoyles.
Omar almost made an unbelievable play. Now, whether he could have gotten Hoyles again, Vizquel, if it's Vizquel a year ago, he's got a shot, but with a bad shoulder, you know, I don't know if he could have thrown him out. Well, so far, no indication of a pinch runner for Hoyles, and that surprises me a little bit. That's a key man. Plus, again, if you go to Parrott, you get better defense. Vizquel knocks it down. Got Manny Alexander over there, who's been a pinch running specialist this year.
Brady Anderson in the dirt, and Hoyles staying put. He is one of the slowest runners in the league. I'm wondering if he gets to second base here, he's got to go for a runner then.
I think if you're going to do it, you got to do it right now.
What about it? Because I think if it's going to be a fastball, it's something for Brady to hit. Brady's definitely going to swing. He's not going to sit up there and take.
Brady has popped to first, been hit by a pitch and fly deep to right center. It's right back toward us. Kirby started tapping the glove on that one.
Yeah, right. Just trying to get out of the way so I don't get hit again.
1 ball and 1 strike to Brady Anderson here. We're in the 7th inning. And the Cleveland bullpen is very busy once again. Curveball is too low. 2-1. Plunk, the right-hander. Ossenmacher, the left-hander. Two of the very best Cleveland relievers out there now. Veterans both. It's obviously all riding for the Indians today. They must win today, and if they do that, then they must win tomorrow. And if they do that, then both teams will be in that spot on Sunday. Now, Manny Alexander comes out with a 3-1 count to run for Hoyles.
Well, maybe he was stretching for a couple of pitches.
Maybe Manny was down loosening up his legs. It might take a little longer in the cold weather. You know, John, maybe 27 out of 28 major league teams probably would have sacrificed in this situation, but the Baltimore Orioles have a guy who's hit 50 home runs leading off. But most guys, the leadoff hitter in the lineup would be bunting here, but not with Brady Anderson.
Yeah. Padres yesterday had the batting champion back.
Tony Gwynn.
And had him bunt. There goes Alexander. And ball 4 to Brady Anderson.
Well, Manny Alexander was running with his head down. He didn't know what was going on, but Here comes Mike Hargrove out, and he may make a pitching change. We'll see. I don't know why guys. He did take a little peek there. He's all right, but when the ball got by, so good. That was good by Manny. I didn't see him take a peek, so he knew that the ball got past the hitter. And Mark Wiley, it's Wiley out to talk to Shuey, and now. What do you do, Kirby? Bunt? I think you got a bunt with Alomar and Palmeiro coming up.
Well, on the road, I think that's the most definite here. I think Sammy Palazzo is talking to Zeal right there, telling him to get a good pitch and get it down. With the next two hitters coming up, you got to get the guys in scoring position to give your team a chance to win on the road.
So Wiley, a one-time Baltimore Orioles pitching coach, heads back to the dugout. Mike Hargrove. And again, we go back to those early innings when Cleveland had a chance to put this one away and couldn't do it. And also, how about the big play with Lofton not running? Well, he would have scored on the subsequent base hit by Seitzer had he been at second base.
Now, this is one of those games you're going to be talking about a long while, but you go back to the play Cal Ripken made, and that saved Mussina's bacon and probably kept him in the ball game.
Back in the third inning. Great defensive play. Pickoff at second base, but Alexander was not fooled. They bluffed the rotation play, the wheel play. Alexander at second base, Anderson at first, both very fast. Zeal the hitter, 1 for 3 in the game. 4-4, 7th inning. Strike one call with Franco right on top of him from first base.
John, we talked about how things happen differently in postseason. Tim Raines laying down his first sacrifice bunt. Pudge Rodriguez, first time since 1993. Todd Zeal has 0 sacrifice bunts this year. A guy hit 25 homers and knocked it in 99.
Well, in the American League here, you know, we're not much of a bunting league, but in this situation on the road, you have to give your team every opportunity to score runs. And right now, this seems to be the best thing to do.
Roberto Alomar, switch hitter on deck. Now the bunt, and it looked like Shuey. What was going on there? You had Vizquel standing on second base before the pitch was even thrown.
I think they're just trying to keep Manny as close as possible. Maybe Shuey forgot. Maybe.
Here it is.
A lot of Manny. You see Manny's getting out there, and Vizquel was standing behind him. It's just a ploy to just keep him close.
0-2 now to Zeal. Now Shuey looks back at second base.
Maybe just one play later.
I mean, it would have been bad news if Zeal had swung away on that last pitch with nobody at shortstop. Nobody out. In a tie ball game, 7th inning. Shuey again in trouble. He got roughed up on Tuesday. Now in this ball game, he's just come on. He gave up an infield hit to Hoyles and then walked Anderson. 2 men on, nobody out. This could be 2. Vizquel the second one. Vizquel to the first. 2.
Can't get the bunt down. If it's your day, maybe you get a hit when you get this swing sign. But if it's not your day, the double play will kill you. That was a crucial double play for the Orioles to hit into, and a great one turned by the Indians.
And as has been the case all day long with Roberto Alomar, who has suddenly become an infamous character. And he has been vilified here today in Cleveland. And he has not responded well with the bat. He's 0 for 3.
Well, Roberto Alomar's an all-star type player. So, I mean, he's going to, like you said earlier, that he's going to have to deal with this. And I'm sure he's going to deal with it as a professional and just do what he has to do and things go on. And it's sad that it happened, but the game of baseball is bigger than all of us.
2-0. Alomar, the whole game has been revolving around Roberto Alomar this week with the umpires and Major League Baseball in court today. The judge finally granted the temporary injunction to keep the umpires working. And ball 3.
Sure, he's probably facing his last batter because with Palmeiro on deck, I don't think Mike Hargrove lets the right-hander Shuey pitch to Palmeiro with Assenmacher ready in the pen.
And it's a 4-pitch walk to Alomar. And here comes Hargrove. So Rafael Palmeiro, 4th in the league in RBIs with a team record 142. And Hargrove's going to bring in the veteran Assenmacher to face him with a lot at stake. We'll be back. ESPN's coverage of the 1996 American League Division Series is brought to you by Adidas and by Lennox. For the finest in home heating and cooling, Lennox, one less thing to worry about. John Miller with Kirby Puckett and Dave Campbell from the Jake. It is 4-4. The Orioles and the Indians, top of the 7th. Runners at first and third and 2 down. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern here on ESPN, 4 Pacific. It's the Clemson Tigers taking on Florida State. Seminoles are 3-0 and ranked 2nd in the nation. Clemson and Florida State tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN. So the left-hander Assenmacher on to face the left-handed batter Palmeiro.
Yeah, Assenmacher has a real good slider. I think Rafael Palmeiro is going to hopefully be looking for his best pitch. That is his out pitch, his slider, and he's got a real good one. And I'm sure Palmeiro's faced him before. I think he's 4 for 18 off of him, I think, in his career. So he's definitely going to have to be up here. And if I was hitting, and I'm sure Rafi's thinking the same thing. He's going to try to hopefully hope that Assenmacher hangs a slider right here, and hopefully he can get a hit, driving some runs.
And the base runners. The pinch runner, Manny Alexander, at third base. And Roberto Alomar over at first base. Talking with Julio Franco and John Stearns, the coach over there.
Assenmacher really earned his spurs last year in the league championship series, coming into a critical situation, striking out Ken Griffey Jr. and staying in and getting Jay Buhner. So he's been in this situation before.
4-4 in the 7th. Here is Palmeiro. Big year, but 0 for 3 today. Ball 1. Now they're not holding against Alomar at first base, and he is a fast runner. Franco playing behind him over there, so as not to open the hole too wide for Palmeiro. In the air to left, easy play for Albert Bell. It's still tied. The big double play after the failed bunt by Zeal. Top of the order, Lofton, Seitzer, and Tomey. It's 4-4. Game 3 of the American League Division Series, Baltimore and Cleveland. It is 4-4. The tension getting rather thick now here as the temperature gets cooler. And Jesse Orozco, the veteran lefty, has come out of the Baltimore bullpen in relief of Mussina, with Kenny Lofton in the top of the order coming up. And again, caught us a little bit by surprise. Mussina had just settled in and retired 7 in a row, and then he's gone.
Mark Parent takes over, and if Lofton gets on with the left-hander Orozco and Parent with the better throwing arm, they'd have a better chance against Kenny. I don't know if you have a chance against Lofton if he gets a good break, though.
Both bullpens are busy as Lofton stands in. This is where Lofton could take over this game. Ball 1. You saw the statistic. He has never done well against Jesse Orozco. In fact, Wednesday, Orozco came out in the 7th inning with a couple of men on and struck him out.
Threw him 5 sliders, and Kenny was overmatched.
Zeal very shallow at third base. Palmeiro pulled in a bit at first. On the fastball. 2-0.
Got him in a fastball count now. Kenny will look heater.
If he's going to get any pitch to hit, it's definitely going to be this pitch right here.
Seemed to stumble as he threw that pitch.
Some guys just love to be center stage. And for Kenny Lofton, he is one of those. Herbie Puckett used to love the spotlight in the big games, and Kenny Lofton is the same way.
Well, yesterday, Joe Morgan and I were in St. Louis, and the game turned around. Doug Buckler came in, started walking people. This is not the man to walk here. But it's a 4-pitch walk. Now, Davey Johnson has removed his top starter, who was rolling along. Lofton had been 0 for 3 against him. Orozco's come on, but he has not done his job. Alan Mills, veteran right-hander, is warming up in the Baltimore bullpen. The Cleveland bullpen is also busy. For the first time in this series, Jose Mesa is warming up out there for Cleveland. Yes, Jose. Here is Seitzer. Orozco has not thrown a strike yet. Orozco gave up a hit to Seitzer in the 8th inning on Wednesday.
He's missed with 5 pitches all in the same spot. A veteran like Jesse Orozco has got to know his own delivery and make some kind of an adjustment here. He's been up with everything.
I'm sure Davey Johnson brought him in with the idea of the first 3 hitters. Lofton, Seitzer, and Thome, 2 lefties and the right-handed batter. Now we saw Seitzer show bunt there. Lofton taken off in a steal attempt.
Well, either that or hit and run, because Seitzer handles the bat so well, but Orozco hadn't shown any indication that he's going to be near the strike zone yet. So both managers, a lot of heavy decisions being weighed right here.
Not bunting, called a strike.
When you can't get the fastball over, a veteran catcher like Mark Parent said, let's try the curveball and see if we can get him back on track.
Now Seitzer is going to go over and talk to Jeff Newman, the third base coach. He showed bunt on that first pitch, but not on the second one.
Orozco a left-hander, but runners are 6 for 6 versus him this year. So a lot of options being discussed right here.
I think this is going to be a run and hit. I think he's going to let Lofton run, and he's going to swing. How's that?
So not as opposed to a straight steal attempt.
No, as opposed to a hit and run.
You mean if it's not a good pitch, he doesn't swing?
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to. Yeah, you're right. Got a guy on first base that stole 75 bases this year, so led the majors in that category. So he can steal whenever he gets ready.
I mean, he's a weapon. It's 4-4, last of the 7th. That snap throw to first base.
Just enough to keep Kenny honest over there.
Jim Thome on deck, and then Albert Bell after him.
Looked like Kenny maybe was trying to lull Orozco to sleep. He really shortened his lead. Some base stealers will do that, shorten the lead, and then on the first movement think they're not going to throw over and take off. But Orozco does not have a great move.
Zeal still shallow at third base, in on the grass. And a foul. Lofton was actually flinching back toward first base as that pitch came in.
Well, I think that snap throw that Jesse threw over there might have been the difference to just keep him honest. Because I really believe that Kenny was thinking about going in, but when Orozco gave him his best Gave him his best move right away. I think they just kept Kenny honest a little bit. But you got a good hitter here, a good base runner. Seitzer's a good number 2 hitter.
This is the spot when you're a base stealer and the team needs the steal now. I mean, there's other spots where maybe the team isn't expecting it to steal, this and that, but I mean, this is about, he's the possible go-ahead run, maybe even the winning run.
A lot of pressure on deciding who's going to cover, too, because Seitzer is so good with the bat. I mean, Kevin can't take a pitch now with 2 strikes on him, but you can open up a hole somewhere, and, you know, Cal Ripken's going to make the call to Roberto Alomar who's going to cover.
Well, I'm pretty sure Roberto Alomar is going to stay put. Seitzer's going to hit the ball to the right side.
Lofton runs, a pitch out. Ripken covers. Trees! Ripken ended up on top of Lofton, and Lofton is still down.
I think the ball hit Kenny in the head. We'll take a look. And Orioles guessed right on the pitch out, but Kenny Lofton just challenging. And we'll have to see what happened to Kenny. He says he's all right. That's a good sign.
I think Kenny's head might have hit Cal's knee, because Cal was hobbling too. I think the throw bounced in. Take a look at it. That's a good jump. They guess right. Come off and the throw bounce. I think Kenny's knee. See his head hit Cal's knee.
Terrible throw by Parent, who came in for defense, and he's lucky he's still conscious.
I got a good one eye, huh?
The ball actually hit Kenny's arm as Cal was trying to scoop it.
I think that's called a double hit by Kenny. He's got the ball hit him on the left arm, and then his head hit Cal's knee. So that was pretty close. It could have been a bad play right there. Very dangerous.
Yeah, Kenny's had pretty talented hands today. When he stole third back in the first inning, he looked like he was going to be out and had the sleight of hand. That time he got his hand and arm in the way of the throw.
Looks like everybody's going to be all right now. Meanwhile, the count to Lofton is 2-2, and we go back to a Baltimore problem today. The defense has not been very good.
Now, on the other side of the coin, Cleveland's has played flawless so far. And again, Kirby, we talked about Kevin Seitzer's ability to hit the ball the other way, even with 2 strikes on him in this situation.
He's going to get the ball over to the right side. You watch.
3-2, and again, Orozco with the control problems.
And again, a left-hander with a slow delivery. Kenny Lofton, don't be too surprised if Orozco doesn't pay attention to him if he doesn't take off here. 3-2.
Jim Thome on deck. Nobody out in the 7th inning.
Ripken edging in behind Lofton. Just good work by both Ripken and Orozco. They're aware of what Kenny can do at second base. They're not going to give him a free rein.
Lofton stole third base in the first inning. 3-2 the count. And it's a foul. He's still alive, although he's hobbling a bit.
When did he hit that ball off his knee, I wonder? Off his foot?
Talk about Seitzer's ability to go the other way. Jesse Orozco made it almost an impossible pitch to hit to the right side of the diamond.
Well, they're going to make it as tough as possible. They're not going to make it easy for Seitzer. But right here, he has to be. You see Parent sitting right behind him, right underneath his legs. They're going to make sure they jam him good, and hopefully Seitzer can find it off and get it to the right side and get the guy over. Hopefully.
Looks like Robbie Alomar has moved a little closer to second base now. Give Lofton a little attention.
He walked it. And now the left left-handed batting Thome is due up, but he is walking back into the dugout.
Amazing, a guy with a .450 on base percentage, but only batting .250 against lefties. It looks like
Casey Candell has come out of the dugout to bat for Jim Thome. Now we're starting to see everything.
Well, if they're bringing Candell up, you can bet they're going to bunt.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb right here and say they brought him in to bunt. How's that? I'm going to wait until he does it first, and then I'll tell you afterwards, like you did earlier, John.
And, of course, Albert Bell is on deck. And, of course, if he gets the bunt down and it works, Albert Bell won't hit.
Yeah.
And here comes Davy Johnson. He's got Mills ready in the bullpen. Orozco just can't get the ball over. He'd come in and walk 2 straight hitters.
Well, on the other side, one thing here is, if possible, you like to have a left-hander to field the bunt, but I guess he's going to make a change.
Well, I don't know if he really wanted to bring Mills out of the bullpen. I don't think, because he has a bad groin. I think he had a bad groin.
That's one thing.
So to bring him into this cold and have him to field a bunt, that wouldn't be too smart. So I think what he's doing right here is probably leaving Jesse in, make sure everybody knows where they're going right here, and hopefully they can get it out somewhere.
And again, for the left-hander, fielding a bunt down the third base line, he just has to open up his hip and throw to third, as opposed to a right-handed pitcher, a right-handed thrower. He's got to make a full pivot. That's an extra step or two. And again, Mills, as Kirby said, with the groin problem, that could be difficult for him to field the bunt.
If Cleveland can come on and win this ball game, Game 4 will be tomorrow here at the Jake, and we would have it on ESPN2 at 1 o'clock Eastern. Alan Mills is no longer the only Oriole pitcher warming up. Armando Benitez, another right-hander, has now joined him. So here is Candell, and everybody in the ballpark seems to know why Candell is up there. Strike 1. Throw down to second by Parent. Parent's not throwing the ball well right now.
Well, it's kind of tough when you come off the bench and to catch, and you're not loose, and you're sitting over there in the dugout and you get cold. It's kind of tough to come out and have your best stuff. That's for anybody that's playing defense or whatever. You see a lot of all the position players out here on defense. Kind of Zeal has his hand in his pocket, and guys blowing on their hands constantly because it's hard to get a grip. And this is a tough time to play for any fielder.
In the top of the 7th, the Orioles first and second, nobody out. Zeal couldn't get the bunt down, hit into a double play. Now the Indians have a chance to bunt the man up.
Ball 1. Did he bunt at it? No, says first base umpire. Larry Young in the appeal. 1-1. Armando Benitez out there in the Baltimore bullpen now. He had been throwing, so the way he's walking around must be ready.
Oh, I think he's from Dominican Republic, isn't he? I think he's this is kind of cold for him. I think he's trying to go anywhere to stay warm right now.
Yeah. So if you were from Nome, Alaska, this would be kind of cold for you today. Candell, 1-1. Lofton at second. Seitzer at first. Nobody out. Ball 2.
With a guy like Lofton at second base and a ball bunted where you're thinking about making a play at third, it's going to have to be a ball that Orozco gets within a split second to make that play, because you've got to get an out in this situation.
Well, plus you got to throw him a strike. We all know he's up there to bunt. Let him bunt. So Davy Johnson did not look too pleased talking to Pat Dobson there a moment ago in the dugout.
Sometimes the easiest things to do in baseball are the hardest. Jesse knows that he's bunting and he's trying to get it over, and he just can't seem to get it done right now. And Casey's going to make sure he gets a good pitch. And also, this is a situation where Kenny Lofton is second base. I mean, who knows? He might take off. Seitzer might take off behind him. Lots of options right now.
The first 2 games, it was bad Cleveland defense and bad pitching out of their bullpen that hurt the Indians. Today, the Orioles defense has been shaky at times, and Jesse Orozco is certainly not off to a very good start here in the bottom of the seventh.
Just want all you people to know out there that this game is not easy as it looks.
Candell. And he has walked. Unbelievable. The bases are loaded for Albert Bell. Orozco came on and walked him loaded. Even the out that the Indians were trying to give him, he didn't get.
John, you can understand a young pitcher maybe getting butterflies, but a veteran like Jesse Orozco, I mean, has been through this so many times with Davey Johnson in the '86 Mets and so many times in postseason.
Armando Benitez coming on to face Albert Bell. The game itself on the line. It is 4-4 in the last of the seventh inning. Armando Benitez, the young, hard-throwing right-hander, one of the Orioles' heroes in Game 2, comes on in an even tighter spot here in Game 3. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Albert Bell at the plate. He came on to face Bell in a big spot Wednesday and walked him. And Franco, with the bases loaded, hit the sacrifice fly. Anderson with a nice catch to tie the ball game, but he struck out Ramirez, and Sandy Alomar popped out to end the inning. He does not have the luxury of walking Albert Bell this time. The bases are already loaded, and the game is already tied. Lofton at third base. Seitzer at second base. Candell at first base. The league's leading RBI man with the bases loaded and nobody out. It's tied up. There's nowhere to hide. Davey Johnson took his right-handed Mussina out after he had retired 7 in a row. 4 of them on strikeouts. And then Jesse Orozco walked everybody he faced. Fastball fouled back, and our judge gun measured that one 98 miles per hour.
Well, Benitez is another one of them guys. You'll have to meet him halfway. He'll come and get you. So it's a tough situation. Like you said, he's got no place to put this guy. If you're a baseball fan anywhere, this is the situation you want to be in.
The wind has been blowing in hard from right field throughout the game. Knocking balls down at the center field. Strike 2. Man.
Orioles playing at double play depth in the middle of the diamond. They're going to trade 2 for a run right here. Right now, Benitez trying to get a strikeout.
He needs one bad right here.
Little old country hardball on those first 2 pitches.
I can't see him throwing anything else but that.
He hasn't caught up to it so far. Well, that was not 72 miles an hour, I'll tell you that.
It was so fast it caused our radar gun to have a blip.
Two strikes to Albert Bell with the bases loaded and nobody out. It is 4-4. The Cleveland Indians trying to stay alive in this series, and here's their best shot. And 2. Well, so far, Mike Hargrove has made all the right moves. I mean, he went to his bullpen after McDowell had retired 8 in a row. The bullpen got it done. He pinch hit for his 38 home run man. That worked beautifully. And now he's got the one man in his lineup that everybody in baseball would want to have up with the game on the line and the bases loaded. Albert Bell. big one has happened. Franco, the hitter, fouls it away. But they're still celebrating here. It's New Year's Eve in Cleveland.
John, in game 2, Benitez came in and blew 2 fastballs past Albert Bell. He couldn't get the third one past him. Fouled a bunch of them off, and he eventually walked him with a slider. Albert jumped up on that high piece of cheese and tomahawked it right into the seats.
Benitez, nice pickup. Franco retired, and there is one away.
High fastball here. Albert just tomahawked it.
Yeah, he knew too, didn't he?
He knew as soon as he hit it. The guy throwing 98 miles an hour, all he had to do was just get the bat hit on it. But once he hit it, he knew it was right there. He stayed right on it. Hands up, right on top of the ball.
And in the dugout, as soon as they saw it, they all knew too.
I guess they've seen it before.
48 times this year. And in the Baltimore dugout, the grim reality. Albert Bell at the Jake. That's what the Indians have been all about these last 3 seasons.
Hardest pitch in baseball to hit is a high fastball, and keep your hands up on top of it. And Albert just went up and jumped on it.
Here's a guy who got a souvenir to cherish. He ain't giving it up.
I wouldn't if I was him.
Ramirez fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, way back in April, one of our early Sunday night baseball games was in Anaheim. The Indians were there. And Albert Bell against Troy Percival. Same thing. 2 fastballs. He was behind him. And a third one over the center field wall. And up like that one, too. 98 miles an hour. We've seen him do it before.
And we also saw what happened when Mussina tried to throw him a curveball today. He almost got killed.
Can't blame Benitez for that. I mean, he went with his best pitch, and that's what a pitcher's supposed to do in that situation. And 98 miles an hour. There's not many guys that get on top of the ball like that, like Campbell said, and it's unbelievable.
Ramirez has a home run today. 3-1. I beg your pardon. Called a strike. 2-2. Pardon me, Durwood. 2-2 the count to Manny Ramirez. Well, really, I mean, you're talking about Benitez, but and not his fault. I mean, Jesse Orozco walking 3 in a row. And down goes Ramirez. Out number 2.
That's where it all started. It goes back to, I hate to say cliches, but it goes back to old cliche, which is walks to kill you.
I mean, Albert Bell would have been walked if Candell got the bunt down. We never would have saw Albert. We never would have seen Albert. I beg your pardon.
You know, the Cleveland Indians have played a much better game than the Orioles have today. Baltimore has made 3 defensive mistakes.
Alomar down the right field line. Roberto Alomar going after with Palmeiro and Bonilla, but it's out of play. The last time, remember, the Cleveland Indians hit a grand slam in postseason play 76 years ago.
1920. Elmer Smith, right?
Yeah.
How about that?
Did you cover that game?
I did. They also had an unassisted triple play in that series.
Cleveland played in an old ballpark called League Park in those days. Pretty good home run ballpark. 2 strikes now to Alomar. Man, what a day this has been. I mean, this crowd has been as loud as any crowd you've ever seen outdoors, Kirby. I know they were pretty loud at the Metrodome in those great series for years.
Well, these Cleveland fans love their Indians, and they should love them. These guys play hard all year. Second year in a row in the postseason. I mean, what more can you ask as a fan?
Yesterday on ESPN, we saw the Cardinals beat the Padres with a run in the 8th inning. An inning where there were 2 walks, a wild pitch, and not even a hit. That one is hit deep to left, but Surhoff is there. Two innings to go. But Albert Bell may have given the Cleveland Indians a game 4. And that's the pressure, Kirby, of this time of year?
Well, it's pressure any time, any kind of year. I mean, he had a tough job. He came in and he got beat with his best pitch. That's what you ask your pitchers to do. And last time he pitched against Albert, and he struck him out. And this time he threw fastball, and Albert got on top of that 98-mile-an-hour heat, and he knew it was gone when he hit it.
Now Eric Plunk comes up. Don't forget, Baltimore with all of this power. But this Cleveland now, as Jeff Kent comes in to play third base, now they're into the part of the bullpen they feel most confident with. Plunk and Mesa behind him, needing only 6 more outs. Bonilla 1 for 3. That's a foul. Well, when you go back in that Indians 7th, Lofton not only gets the walk, which was bad enough, but then they pitch out when he was running, but Parent makes a bad throw. So he's now at second. Then the walk to Seitzer. And then Kendall trying to make it out. He got walked too. If he makes the out and moves the runner over with a great bunt, Albert Bell gets a free pass. And that moment never happens. Now maybe Julio Franco comes up and he becomes the hero. We don't know. But the Orioles made so many mistakes in that inning. Bonilla down on strikes.
Clark ran back right here. I think that was a fork ball. There he is, a fork ball. You see the spin on the ball, just went straight down. It's kind of tough for these Baltimore hitters. They've been in the field quite a bit, and all of a sudden they come up and face another guy that throws 96 miles an hour. It doesn't get any easier.
And Ripken fouls one right back toward us. Cal is flying to left, singled and scored a run and popped to second.
John, 2 axioms in baseball. More close games are won and lost by good or bad base running, number 1. And number 2, in close games, you more often lose them than win them. The Orioles have played giveaway today.
That's a nasty breaking ball right there by Plunk. You see Ripken flinch. And as a hitter, that's tough to judge sometimes. A guy throwing that hard. It's a pretty good breaking ball right there.
Ripken is 6 for 11 in this series. A bloop, but foul and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Cleveland Indians trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit in a 5-game series. It happened just last year. The Seattle Mariners did it to the Yankees. And of course the Cleveland Indians to a man were remembering that series the last couple of days. They know it can happen. They just saw it happen a year ago. Two down, nobody on. And Eddie Murray, who was 2 for 3 in the game.
Kirby, I'm just trying to think of another man in baseball that could have gotten up and tomahawked a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Maybe Gary Sheffield with Florida, but I don't know anybody else in the game that could have hit that pitch.
Now that you mentioned, I'm trying to think about it. I can't think of anybody else. I know Sheffield, you're right. He'd get on top of it.
I mean, they would have called it a ball if he hadn't swung at it.
Absolutely.
Just shows you the strength of Albert, man, to get on top of that ball. I mean, there's not many guys, all the baseball players in this park, he's the only one could have done it.
Eddie Murray, who has hit more grand slams than any player in history except for Lou Gehrig. You can appreciate what Albert Bell just did. His former teammate here in Cleveland. This is not just a grand slam. I mean, came at kind of a big moment. It's a catch. The umpire at first base, and in fact the right field umpire signaling catch. Ken Kaiser signaled catch. So Murray is retired. 8-4 Cleveland. It's Cleveland. Cleveland 8, the Orioles 4. We go to the last of the 8th inning here at Jacobs Field, which has been quite a scene here this evening. Here's that play that ended the inning, and just a bad call by Ken Kaiser, who the right field umpire, and he stayed right there on the right field line.
Yeah, Ken didn't hustle. I mean, he didn't really have too much to do out in right field except hustle out and take a look at this, and you can see obviously trapped. Ball finally was thrown in by Ramirez, but Kaiser had already made the out call. You know, if the umpires hustle and miss it, it's one thing, but Kaiser did not hustle well on that play at all.
Ramirez himself thought that they had said the ball was in play. He got up and fired it back into second base.
That's a dead giveaway for an outfielder right there. Start throwing it. If you say you're going to catch it, then just come right out the field with it. You don't throw it.
Arthur Rhodes comes on. Now, the regular season, the second base umpire would have gone out, right? Made the call. Second base umpire would have had a much better view of it in this situation. Arthur Rhodes, the left-hander, the fourth Baltimore pitcher of the game, facing Omar Vizquel. Last year, when the Seattle Mariners did make that rousing comeback in that great series with the Yankees, and that's ball 2. The last 3 games were played at the Kingdom, and 57,000 people every night went nuts inside that ballpark. And now here we are at the Jake. I mean, and these fans came pumped up tonight. This has been loud, just as loud as the Kingdom was last year since the very start of the game. 2-1 now to Vizquel. Switch hitter Omar is 2 for 3. 2 runs scored. Well, Mike Hargrove, every move he's made has been the right move, as it turned out. They've all worked in this game tonight. He took out his starter, Jack McDowell, after McDowell had retired 8 in a row. And it worked. Davey Johnson took out Mussina after his best stretch, and it blew up in his face. Base hit to right field. Third hit of the game for Vizquel. Now more excitement later tonight from the ballpark at Arlington. Game 3 of that series. The Yankees and the Rangers, Jimmy Key and Darren Oliver. You'll be able to see it on NBC. And then baseball tonight with the complete baseball story at midnight on ESPN. Game 4 of the Yankees and Rangers tomorrow at 1 on ESPN. Game 3, the Dodgers and the Braves in Atlanta, 4 on Fox. And then the Cardinals Padres, game 3, 7:30 on NBC. And game 4 of this series, and it looks like we'll be here tomorrow on ESPN 2 at 1 o'clock. Jose Vizcaíno, 2 doubles. Ball 1.
And the overall impression of this ball game from the time Kenny Lofton got aboard in the first inning after the error by Bonilla is the Indians have just put relentless pressure on Baltimore.
Lofton reached a Bonilla's error to start the game and immediately stole third. In the same inning, Albert Bell reached in a walk. He stole second. In the second inning, they got a rally started when Omar Vizquel laid down a bunt, and Zeal threw it away. Vizquel taking second. I mean, they just been pushing and pushing all through the game. And it's one thing that they have the capability of doing that Baltimore really doesn't. I mean, they have that kind of speed on this ball club, whereas the Orioles are more of a big swinging ball club. They need to hit the long ball.
I think what the Orioles have to understand is that they're still up 2 games to 1 if they lose tonight, and it's not over yet. Never say it's over till it's over, but they're still going to be ahead of the game, and they're 1 victory away from getting to the next step. But Cleveland Indians going to make it awful tough for them to get there.
3-0, and 3-1 now.
Again, we'll have to wait and see what Mike Hargrove and Davey Johnson had to say about removing their starting pitchers. I mean, it makes more sense for Davey Johnson because his club was in the driver's seat. He doesn't want to wear Mussina out as he's thinking about the next round of the playoffs. He knows he's got to win 1 more here. But for Mike Hargrove, I mean, there was no tomorrow for the Indians. And Jack McDowell was pitching well, but he gave him the hook. And we'll have have to wait and see why. And again, McDowell did not appear to debate the decision. So we'll just have to wait and see what Hargrove and McDowell have to say afterwards.
Took McDowell out in the 6th inning with 2 down and nobody on base. After he had retired 8 in a row, he had thrown 91 pitches up to that time. B.J. Surhoff was coming up, who had hit a home run against him earlier, and he brought in Alan Embry just to face Surhoff. Of course, I'm a bottom line man, Dave. I look back, it all worked. Brilliant. I mean, brilliant managing. And truly, I mean, he took a risk. I mean, you have to give him that. We knew he took a risk, and it certainly paid off.
Well, Mike has been maligned. I mean, last year, a lot of second guessing in the World Series, some of the moves he made. But, you know, managers are only as good as their players. They make the decision based on what they think is going to happen. But
runner going. Ripken will have to go to first. So still, the Cleveland Indians pressing the action. From high above, our shots from the Goodyear blimp, stars and stripes here in Cleveland. And our thanks to Captain Daniels and the crew for the many spectacular shots in our telecast today.
Smartest managers I've ever seen are the ones with the best bullpen.
Well, Hargrove had a good one last year. Probably the best in the league, and not a bad one this year. The guys like Plunk and Assenmacher and Jose Mesa, who's up out there in the bullpen again.
They say you need horses to pull a carriage. You got the big Clydesdale, that'll take you a long way.
And who said that? Gene Autry?
I said that.
Got the horses.
I thought I was a Clydesdale at one point.
Horses pulled a carriage? Kenny Lofton got that big rally in the 7th inning, started with a walk.
Got that situation with Vizquel, great speed at second again, and Zeal in no man's land down at third. Would Lofton bunt? Will Vizquel steal third? Zeal must feel like he's on a teeter-totter, not knowing which way to go.
They feel like 2 horses pulling the carriage.
Exactly right.
Are you telling me you rode horses in the south side of Chicago?
No, I never said I rode them. I said to pull a carriage. I told you I once thought of myself as a Clydesdale. Now I'm old and retired, just eating hay every day.
They'll send you to the glue factory.
That's right.
We started out doing a ball game. Now I'm in a John Wayne movie here. 1-2 now to Lofton.
So Kenny Lofton's not looking too comfortable up here against Arthur Rhodes. I think against Roscoe, he was up there to just trying to get on base. But right now, he's having a tough time with Arthur Rhodes.
Well, Arthur's another one of those hard throwers. 93, 94 mile an hour fastball when he's in his groove.
I think Kenny's got the little spaghetti leg going right now.
No doubt about it.
Awfully close. Last year, the game was over when that man came in, Jose Mesa. He hasn't had that kind of year this year, but still a pretty good year, if just not measured against what he did last year. 2-2 to Lofton. 1 out, runner at second. 8-4 Cleveland. And a slider in the dirt, knocked down by Parent. 3-2. Well, this is the 3rd game of this series, and we've already had 2 grand slams in this series. Bonilla in game 1 for the Orioles. Now Bell in this one. And Lofton stays alive. 3-2 now. Our Judge Gun reading is showing about 89 for Arthur Rhodes. So remember, he sat out nearly 2 months. Just pitched on Sunday for the first time since the first week in August. And so his arm strength probably is not what it would be.
Saw Robbie Alomar come in. Vizquel looked like he wanted to try to steal third. Robbie darted over and kept him in check. You've got to keep doing that.
He hits the wall. Lofton's had one of the greatest 0 for 3s I've ever seen. Lofton has been on 3 different times, 2 with walks, once on the error, stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs. Terry Matthews coming in. He'll be right. 8-4 Cleveland. Last of the 8th. Jacobs Field. Kirby, what do you say you do this? What do you think? It's time you did it. It's high time.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without express written consent.
That was outstanding.
Thank you.
I'm never going to let you do it
My
again.
first time. Thank you very much, sir.
That should be the last time.
Thank you.
8-4 Cleveland, last of the 8th inning. And you truly can do it all. They said about Kirby Puckett, the player, you could do it all. Now, even up here.
Well, I'm up here with the best. When you're up here with the best, it makes it that much easier.
All right, excellent point. That just emphasizes what I said.
Put your wallet away, John.
Evan Seitzer, excuse me. 1 ball and no strikes to Seitzer. There is Vizquel. He's at second, Lofton at first, 1 out. Seitzer the hitter. Seitzer 1 for 3, 2 batted in, 1 scored. Runners are going. A double steal.
Relentless. Got 2/3 of a great relay team on board, and they're just going to run wild if the Orioles don't keep it close.
Well, I think the Cleveland Indians are sending a message right here, no doubt about it, is that telling the Baltimore Orioles they are going to run and they're going to score as many runs as possible because they know that they pretty much have to play with reckless abandon right now.
Oriole catchers keep throwing it to the outside of the bag. Hoyles with Lofton in the first, and that throw there by Parent.
So Vizquel gets the steal, as does Lofton. Lofton's 3rd steal of the game and his 5th steal of the series. The Indians as a team have 9 steals in 3 games. Palmeiro off his glove. And everybody's safe. Vizquel has scored. The throw back to 3rd. Nice pickup by Zeal. It is 9-4 Cleveland.
Terry Matthews didn't cover first. Palmeiro knocks it down, but Rafi had no place to throw it.
Well, Terry Matthews should have got over there and covered first base. That's what they tell the pitchers. You work on it so hard in spring training from day one. It all comes down to fundamentals, and he knows that he should have got over there. Seitzer hitting the ball to the right side of the field again. Right up Rafael Palmeiro's glove. That's a good try, and Rafi got it. Even if he got it, Matthews is not there to cover. So even with Seitzer running, who doesn't run as good as some of the other guys.
So the steal. Nets Cleveland, yet another run. And truly, I mean, this is the way the Cleveland Indians play the game, especially when they're here at the J.
They're tough to beat here. There's no doubt about it. I've experienced it firsthand.
And when they get it rolling, sometimes it's hard to turn it off. This is Jeff Kent up for the first time. He entered the game at 3rd base after the Kendall had pinch hit for Tomey in the 7th inning. Which, by the way, one of the key at-bats of this game. Kendall up there to bunt, and Orozco walked him.
I think we can go back. We can go to the 7th inning. I'm sorry, Dave, is that you can go back to Zeal not getting that bunt down. I think that was a very important inning, a very important series. And if he'd got that bunt down, it could have changed the whole complexity of the game.
Tale of 2 bunts, one that worked, and of course the other one wasn't even allowed to even be attempted. As it turned out, Orozco would not take the out that Kendall was trying to make. He walked it. Well, Orel Hershiser predicted that if the Indians won this ball game, then the heat would go back on the Orioles by tomorrow. What do you think, Kirby?
I agree 100%. I think that the Orioles know that they're 1 victory away, and this is a tough place to win. I'm going to tell you that, but the Orioles, they've been a good ball club, and they didn't make it to the playoffs by not being able to handle the situation.
We're supposed to get the first game starters tomorrow in a game 4. Wells and Nagy again. And you see Cleveland, since they moved into this beautiful ballpark, they have won almost 70% of the time. Last year, in that incredible year, they won 3/4 of the time. They were 54-18 here a year ago. David Wells, who beat them in game 1. We'll have to try it again. Looks like now we'll have to try it again tomorrow. Shallow right. Alomar goes out. Two men down now as Kent pops out. Well, we had McDowell and Mussina, but then the bullpens, and the Cleveland bullpen has been outstanding, and the Orioles bullpen has not done the job. Albert Bell coming up again.
John, these 3 games, I mean, the team that's played the best defense has won all 3, and the team that's had the better bullpen has won all 3.
Chanting MVP as Albert Bell stood in.
Well, Juan Gonzalez, certainly a candidate, has put on a show in the other American League Division Series, but Albert made a statement today. Of course, the voting's all over it, and the vote had to be in by Monday.
Matthews fastball inside. 1-1 to Albert Bell. Today, he has walked and stolen a base. He has hit a single that almost took Mussina's head off. He has grounded to first, and he's hit the grand slam. And there's the chant again.
Matthews should probably keep the ball away from Albert right here. Knows if he makes a mistake, get that slider way out there on the outer half of the plate, because if you bring it in and you miss, Albert could hurt you a lot.
Yeah, maybe like 3 feet outside. Way down the line from third, trying to distract Matthews. That's right, you told him to throw it.
He must have hurt me.
But when Benitez came on, he didn't have that luxury. The bases were loaded.
No place to put him.
Again, you think back to game 2, Benitez came in through 2 fastballs past Bell, but Albert tuned up the dial in that game, eventually got a walk, and he really tuned up the dial in this one.
3-2 now. Eddie Murray, he used to hit right behind Albert Bell here for Cleveland last year. And he's not so pleased to see Albert do so well today, a year later. The screen again. 3-2. 44,250 is the paid crowd at Jacobs Field, the second largest paid crowd ever at this beautiful new ballpark. And everybody is standing. And that ends the inning. One more run for Cleveland. Now we go to the 9th inning. And again, the Cleveland has to win. And they're in pretty good shape. 9-4. Division series between Cleveland and Baltimore. They were the first teams to get started in the postseason this year, and with a chance to become the first series to end. But that's not the way it looks to be playing out. Cleveland 9, the Orioles 4. A must-win for Cleveland, and they have broken it open here late. Coming up, Sports Center, an abbreviated version, and then of course opening night in the National Hockey League at 8 o'clock. The Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues. Patrick Roy, Joe Sakic, and Brett Hull will be out there on the ice.
Patrick Roy. What's his name again?
Patrick Roy.
Nice.
Jose Mesa, when he first came to the big leagues with the Baltimore Orioles. His teammate, veteran pitcher Mike Boddicker, called him by the English translation of Jose Mesa, which was Joe Table. Patrick Roy. And Surhoff fouls him. Well, now if the Indians win this game, and I'm not saying they're winning it. I'm not going out on that limb, but let's just say they do. It's 9-4 in the 9th inning. Now tomorrow the Orioles come back here knowing that if they lose tomorrow, then they've got to come back for a must-win in this, what for them is a very hostile environment on Sunday. B.J. Surhoff in a very big hit for the Orioles back in the 4th inning. He turned the game around, at least for a while. The Orioles were down 3-1. Cleveland had been coming after him, and with one swing of his bat, the Orioles suddenly were ahead 4-3.
You mentioned Mike Boddicker. Orioles got Brady Anderson in a trade for Mike Boddicker, along with Kurt Schilling. Pretty good trade for the Orioles.
Boddicker went to the Boston Red Sox. Surhoff fouls it away. Boddicker, of course, helped the Red Sox win a division title the year they got it.
Of course, on the other side of the coin, once the Orioles had Kurt Schilling, they traded Pete Harnisch and Steve Finley to Houston for Glenn Davis. Maybe not such a good trade.
Didn't work out too well. 1-2 the count. If it stays fair, it's a hit. Kent makes the throw. I knew it was a hit all the way. Pretty close at first base.
No doubt about it. You see B.J. running down the line.
Well, he's got that
down there with that bad knee, but he hustled down there. That was a good play by Kent, but B.J. still with enough speed to make it down there.
He got that bursitis in his right knee. Back in the 7th inning. Kenny Lofton attempted to steal. The Orioles pitched out, but a bad throw. So Lofton was still out there. Then later with 2 men on, Candel was up there to bunt, but Orozco walked him. The bases loaded. So much for that. Albert Bell, there was nowhere to put him.
Albert dropped the hammer.
Well, Mike Devereaux, the pinch runner over at first base for B.J. Surhoff. And again, Surhoff obviously ailing out there. The chronic condition in his knee with the bursitis. Mark Parent up for the first time. Lofton. One away.
Well, I'd like to say out of my wife Tanya and my son Kirby and daughter Catherine back at home listening to Daddy on TV today with John Mill and Dave Campbell.
Now they go out and play now, right? You kept them around for 9 this time, Kirby.
Well, they can do whatever they want. I'm not there.
We're not letting you leave either. We'll be right back here tomorrow, it looks like. 1 o'clock, 10 Pacific, game 4 here at the Jake. David Wells for the Orioles, and Charles Nagy will get another shot at it. And of course, he was the Indians' best. I mean, they have to feel confident in this ballpark with Nagy coming back.
Nagy's got something to prove, too. He's thankful for a second shot. He didn't pitch well in game 1. He had the ball up. Nagy said, no matter how well you pitch during the season, if you don't pitch well in postseason, it'll leave a bad taste. So he gets a chance to redeem himself tomorrow.
And Davy Johnson, he made the moves, and then you see Nagy all smiles right now, knowing that he will get a chance to pitch tomorrow. Brady Anderson at the plate. 2-1. But I mean, Davy went with the veteran Orozco, who'd been getting it done for a long time. Orozco was on the mound when the Mets won the World Series for Davy Johnson in 1986. But tonight he came in and could not get the ball over. That will go foul and out of play down the left field line. I don't see too many people who have headed for the exits here. I mean, this crowd has been going nuts tonight, and they're all still here. I mean, they're enjoying every minute of this one.
I think they were a little bit excited. They're worried about their ball team in Baltimore, and all of a sudden this goes to show you that when you come home, good things can happen for you.
Caught by Franco. Devereaux gets back. And Davy Johnson arguing now with Larry Young from the dugout.
Well, Larry's right there, and it certainly appeared that Franco grabbed that one off the ground. That was a good catch.
2 down, and here's Todd Zeile. And it all began to come apart for the Orioles when Zeile couldn't get the bunt down. And that's an interesting point because Zeile, keep in mind, hit cleanup all year in Philadelphia. He didn't get asked to bunt too often hitting cleanup. And in this big Oriole lineup, hitting second, although he had hit third most of the time. Alomar hit second, but they made a shift here for this series.
Well, a lot of times people in baseball say don't ask a player to do something he doesn't normally do. But the other side of the coin, we saw some guys lay down some great bunts in other series that hadn't bunted all year either.
Did he swing? No. 1 ball and 2 straight. And it's also, I think, worth pointing out, maybe Zeile is not the man you want to have bunt. Well, Jim Thome was the man due up, and Hargrove did not stay with Thome in the bunt situation. He brought in Casey Candell, a man he knew was a good bunter. We will see you tomorrow. Cleveland has won Game 3, 9-4. SportsCenter coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. John Miller, Kirby Bucket, and Dave Campbell, thanks for joining us.